I'm pushing the button. I'm pushing the button. It's, it's Squatchy. What are we doing today? 3G. I'm going to let things kind of wind down over there on Foxy's. She stopped in. She was number one in the chat here back at 7-Eleven yesterday. And Xanadu came in an hour later. Today's topic is going to be basically what came first, the fish tank or the fish. Hey, fishy on. Morning. Just trying to aquatic moose. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Uncle Smiley and Lori. Hi, Lori. I don't know if you've been here since I started doing this, but I made you a mod. Hope you don't mind. You were probably here last week, though. My memory's Swiss cheese. Freaky fish lady. Hey, freak, what's going on? Too coolie. Good morning. Robert Reed, going with the flow. 310. Good morning. Good morning. We're just going to kind of sit here for a minute, just for a quick second or two or three or four, maybe 5 or 6 or 47. So, yeah, like I was saying, I kind of wanted to go over, and then we could talk about whatever too. But just as a basic, hey Foxy, thank you for send over. What came first, the aquarium or the fish? And by that I mean what should come first. Like a lot of people I see online will come on, hey Sketty, Mike, how is the long family shoal today? And Geekster, I miss anybody? Johnny No Shoes. What? The minute I start talking, I miss people. Hey Dix, I see a lot of people saying, you know, I got this size tank. What kind of fish can I put in it? And I'm like, oh, I'm so old school. I mean, that kind of philosophy is hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes. I mean, I know sometimes they're gifted, you know, the tanks are, and then you got to figure things out. But the way, even from when I was like 11, which was a long time ago, the Bruiser, what's going on, buddy? Like my dad would say, what kind of fish do you want? And then we get the appropriate size tank rather than vice versa, trying to figure it out. Because there was times when, you know, people would buy a fish. Well, there's still, I mean, it still happens today, even though we have these high-end pocket computers in our pocket almost all the time, which is why they call them pocket computers. Could I say pocket again? I probably could. And, you know, we still buy things. Hey, Shady. Kind of sight unseen or without any research whatsoever, Mr. Dry Slippers. And it, you know, it just for me, it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, I don't even know where to go. I don't know what kind of fish you like. I don't know what kind of fish you know, your parameters for your fish to live in. Not that I'm a huge proponent of parameters, other than, you know, the big three: the nitrite, the nitrate, and the ammonia. I don't really chase. I mean, they either live in my water or they don't. Other than Lisa, how you doing, Lisa? Good morning. Other than what we've discovered with the water softener, which I am going to chase that. Killer Kitty, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. This looks like coffee. Looks like it. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I'm just wondering what your opinions are. What do you guys do? How do you guys do it? You know, and when you do get a tank, do you go as big as you can? Like what's the old the old saying, buy the biggest fish tank you can afford. So, I mean, that's kind of been my philosophy for as long as I've been in the aquarium business hobby. Um, I've just always gone as big as I can, which, you know, obviously people have much bigger tanks than I do. But on average, I think I've got more volume down here than, like, I only have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 fish tanks, and there's almost 800 gallons of water. So it's not like I have one great big one, but I have that's what she said. Uh, I have bigger, like multiple 150s, a 120, a 210, a 90, you know, that sort of thing, where I've just gone as big as I can to accommodate as many different species as I can at one time. Oh no, 6 inches of snow overnight. Oh, I could show you some stuff, dude. It's gone now, but last Friday, literally at this, just before now, I mean, almost a full week ago, before the stream, I had to go out and buy some hydraulic oil for the cruise on Monday because they you know, they don't open until later. And oh, now I have to work, but you'll be listening. All right, we'll keep it PG. Um, so yeah, I had to go get this hydraulic oil because they don't open until later, and Monday they needed it Monday morning. So I went out today, or not today, but last Friday, and it took me almost 2 hours to make a 45-minute ride. So yeah, we had a lot of snow come down in a hurry this past Friday. So yeah, just let's talk about let's just say, so small. Search the fish if you want to build the tank, and then acquire them in one cycle. Yeah, but now that we have a million tanks, yeah, okay, that makes sense too. As long as you're not getting, see, I'll give you an example. I've been doing this since a long time ago. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Might have been the 70s, probably the 80s. No, it could have been the 70s when I started. Yeah. And so I've been doing, I've learned as I go, and it just doesn't make any sense to buy an arowana that you had internet access to and could find all the information you wanted on them, and then buy it anyway, knowing that the biggest tank you had was a 4-foot, 150-gallon tank, you know, 4 foot wide. But I did it, hands up. So, you know, that's the kind of, because, you know, I was planning on doing something bigger. And as you can see, kind of in the second screen there right in front of me, that's the pond that I bought to put the arowana in. That was 3 years ago. It is still sitting there with stuff in it. So, yeah, I never, I try not to do that anymore. You know, get the tank set up, get it ready, and then buy the fish. You know, and if you don't know what you want, that's where you run into a little bit of trouble because you're going to the store kind of blind. So I get it, but it's just pull that little phone out of your pocket and look at sizes and whatnot. Like I said, I don't worry about chasing the parameters. They'll either live or they won't. I'm not going to be throwing, you know, crushed coral in there to jack the hardness or anything like that. I'm not putting chemicals in there because that just makes it fluctuate too much. And I think that's actually worse for the fish than, you know, just putting them in the wrong parameters to begin with. I'm condensing my fish room into as few large communities as possible. My 40 breeder will be epic. My 129 zebras, black tetras, red eye puffer. Nice. That is a combination that you wouldn't normally think of. What kind of loaches are you thinking? Like the big boofy ones that actually swim around, or the ones that hide and you never see ever again. I've got a couple of those. Hey, Red, the fish hippie, Danny V. What's going on, brother? I've started my tanks with my tank world with 2 tanks at 20 quarantine and a 55, and a 20 is up for 3 weeks planted in deep layered substrate. I want fish, but I'm waiting. We are working on the stand for the 55. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, that's you can't see it from this angle because it's going to be over here. But that's where that pond is eventually going, and then I have to build stands for at least one of the 150s, probably both, just because I want them to match. And the one I got most recently um, isn't the same height as everything else, so I'll end up probably building those too. But who knows? I might get lazy. I'm getting quiet. That's not good. Foxy, I could use, but that's not for me. I remember my mom keeping fish before the internet. They didn't live past the first sterilizing. Yeah, right. Remember when we used to empty the whole damn thing out and just scrub it down and put everything back in there? Yeah. Remove everything, bleach clean, and add the fish back. Why are they floating? I don't know. Yep, been there, done that too. There's a lot of stupid things back in the day. You know, in hindsight, it seems common sense, but back then, yeah, it looks dirty in there. You got to clean it out. Freaky, I have my 120 empty waiting till I move. So excited. I bet. Oh, that's another one. I have my 120 is set up, but it's not on. It's not got anything in it. And the stand that came with it is the tank overhangs the back about that much, and that worries me a little bit. So I might have to rebuild that stand too. It feels like a classy mix. Handful of coolie loaches. Yeah, they come out when you feed them, but other than that, I never see mine. And even then, sometimes I don't see them. I question whether they're in there, and then I move stuff around, and I get 10 of them. I don't know what a red lizard loach is. I'll have to look that one up. I have 5 small tanks. The biggest is a 40. I only buy fish to replace or add to what I already have. Yep, that's the best way to go. I try to do that too, to be honest with you. I have 7 tanks. I don't have 80 tanks. I don't have room to just keep buying new fish. I get a little envious, maybe a little green when I see people going fish shopping all the time. What are we going to get this time? And that's because they got the room and they got the time and they got the energy and the money for that. That matter. So, and honest, like this one here, that's a 150-gallon tank. It got 1 fish in it. And I that doesn't bother me. I don't have a huge. I mean, I know a lot of people think it's a waste, but if the light was on, you'd see just how beautiful that jaguar is, and I think that's worth it right there. Plus, he's a little bit more interactive than most of the little fish that I've ever kept. Like, is that one in the shot? Yeah. So now, if you see this tank right over here, which is I can't do it because it's not on the right camera, but you can see where my hand is right there. That's a 75, going to be a 90. 90's in the closet. Um, there's a lot of little fish in there, and they really could care less. That the only time they even acknowledge me once in a while is when I got food. So Feels nice to have less tanks. Yep, I agree. I mean, honestly, this right here, these 6 or 7 tanks. There is also right back here, two. There's a quarantine tank and a hospital tank, which aren't usually active, but like I do have in the quarantine tank in there, 2 red frontosa that'll go into my African. Uh, it's not a biotope, but it's a continent mix of fish. Like I'm going to do an African tank, and I'm going to do a South American tank, and a Central American tank, and an Asian tank. So we'll go from there. I'll probably have to have two South Americans, one for the big and one for the little. Because I'm a little worried, even though he's getting big, I have a ghost knife in this guy right here that he's about maybe a foot now, 10 inches to a foot. But you can't put him in with the Oscars and stuff. They just kill him. He is not a fighter. He's a very peaceful fish. He lets fish, an inch and a quarter long, swim around in there with him, no problems. Oh, did I read that? I think I just got sidetracked. Feels nice to have. Oh yeah, I did. Right. I don't want pride. I want something to come down here, do my maintenance, and then just something I can veg out on. That's not for me again. Had to make sure this specific red-eye puffer was cool with other fish. Yeah, right. I've heard that they can get a little nippy. Fantastic Freak has some little tiny fish in with his. Oh, look at it! He's here. I don't know how long he's been waiting, but Ed.
A while, but that's all right. I would have been here on time, but I got tied up at Walmart. I was buying not Thanksgiving stuff, but Easter stuff.
I got you. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's totally cool.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking. Do you buy the fish first or the tank? As far as, do you do your research on the fish you're going to buy so you get the right stuff, or do you just buy the tank and then try to figure out what fish go in it? And it's always been my philosophy to go with, do your research and then buy what you need before you even think about buying fish. But that doesn't always work out. Sometimes your buddy will say, "Hey, I've got this 29-gallon. You want it?" And then you got the tank first, and you got to figure out what you're going to put in it. But there's always variables. But I mean, overall, I think it's better to research what you're going to get the right tank, and don't make the mistake I did and buy the fish thinking I will upgrade. I will upgrade, and then you just never get around to upgrading.
So true. Well, I am very I set my fish tank up and I let it grow for 2 months because I want it to be really good for my fish when it finally gets going. And I'm so guilty of this. I'll end up they won't have the fish I want. Maybe it's sold out or whatever, and I go with something else.
Yep.
I've done that so many times, and it's like I wasted all this time preparing this perfect home for, let's say, an electric blue Acara, and then I ended up buying, I don't know, something else, a bunch of angelfish or something, and then I'm like, why did I do that? I really wanted an electric blue Acara.
Right. I did that with. I have red frontosa. Right. I was just talking about them. I bought 2 red frontosa. What I wanted was the widow, the black widow frontosa.
Okay.
Which is it's a Burundi, but it's just a morph.
Now the black widow doesn't get very big. Do the reds get very big?
Well, they all get. Frontosa get pretty big. I don't know if
the black widow stayed smaller. They didn't get quite if this is a full size one, doesn't a black widow half the size?
I had not
Maybe
heard
not.
that.
I don't know.
It's very possible. I really haven't. I haven't seen one, so I haven't done a ton of research on them yet. And the ones I have seen online are crazy, stupid expensive. Plus, you have to tack on shipping, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'll wait till they're in one of the swaps.
Well, they sell them at the Aquatic Marine in Knoxville,
Oh, do they?
but they're like a $half size there.
Yeah, well, that's what these are. I mean, they're tiny. They're little, tiny little hatchlings. So I figured if I could maybe get one soon enough, I could add them in there. Hopefully, they get along. I think they come all from the same. They're all coming from the same water. They're all. Although I don't know. See, here I go. I have the computer in my pocket, but I don't know if are reds even something they find natural, or is that like the electric blue Acara where they've just bred it that way? I don't know.
I don't think I've ever even heard of a red one.
Leslie Perry.
Oh my gosh, I had my chat on my telephone, but I turned my telephone when you brought me up. So
Eduardo is here as well.
yep.
Good day, good day.
When I was down in his neck of the woods, down in Miami, I helped catch a farewell. Oh my god, now I can't even say it. Farewella, a big one. I mean, it was like huge, and I bet it was a $300-400 fish we caught.
Really? Did you try
Yeah,
turning it in or anything, or did you just let it go? What did you do with it?
Oh no, we were out looking for fish. You know, not fish harvesting. Gosh, why can't I think today? Collecting. We were fish collecting. And they ask you to catch anything that's invasive, you're supposed to pull out and not put back in. But
I know,
this
but
one
I can't do
I
that.
found in an irrigation ditch. And the irrigation, or like the ditch that goes into the swamp, like. And so I stood in the front, and he was back there, and he saw me, and I pointed it out, and I stayed there while the guy caught it from behind. And this guy apparently had some at home, and he was hoping to find one or two, but not, catch them. He was hoping to pay for them when he was down there. So that was really cool.
Cool.
Saved a guy a few $100. That was right down by Eduardo's house.
Is that when I have vague memories of James talking about being up to his nose in water swimming around?
No, that was a different time. I went down with the fish tank barn, and we hung out with Corey for a while, and with Ryan also. He was down there and had just a good time.
Corey from Aquarium Co-op, Corey?
Yep.
What was he doing in Florida?
It was the ALA show. But man, Corey is a really nice guy. I think he bought me 3 meals during that time. Such a nice guy.
I have never had much interaction with him, but he has emailed me back directly when I had plant questions. So I mean, clearly he likes to, he doesn't go out of his way to be a jerk. That's for sure. And I've never had. Hold on a minute. My can you hold on the fort for a minute? I have my
sure.
My septic tank guy is here.
Oh wow.
Or my plumbing guy to work with the septic tank people. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. So now we get to watch him walk away, even though he turned one off. That's really neat. I like his shot. I like how he has all the greenery and stuff going on. So one thing I can't do around my fish tanks, because my cats will devour all my plants that are out of the water. I don't know if anybody else has that problem. I'm always afraid that I'm going to put a plant in there that's going to kill my cats or make them real sick. So I'd love to have pothos growing. I tried this elephant ear plant, the great big cool things, because they said that's fine for cats if they chew on it. And I bought 2 pods at an Aquashella one year, and they never germinated. So I don't know what I did wrong there, but uh it just didn't work. So Keith is here. How you doing, Keith? And Monster Fish Gal. I got to say hi to her. And Benjamin, how are you? Good morning. But yep, I today I went to Walmart and I had like a 45-minute window before the show, and everything was slowing me down. I had to get some spray paint because I plan on finishing this guy. I'm like painting him up, and I've got like his little body and his legs. But I had to buy a clear spray paint so the paint doesn't chip on him. And I'm going this way, and the spray paint aisles behind this family coming towards me, and they've got two kids, a dad and a grandma. And I'm thinking, okay, on our current path, I should be able to get by no problem. Well, the dad has to stop and look at a toilet because they now have toilets at Walmart. He stops, and the whole family like spreads out behind him in the aisle, and he's like analyzing this toilet. And I'm like, seriously? So I walk all the way around to get past these people to get my spray paint. I picked up one spray paint and said, yeah, I'll get this one. And then I noticed another one that was only 50 cents more, but is better matte finish. So I went and got it and put it the other one back, came around, and that family had only moved like 4 aisles down the hallway towards the foods because I had to get some sweet tea for the show. Oh, that's delicious. And it's just like, that type of stuff drives me nuts. It just drives me crazy. But for the most part, it was still, I guess, a productive day. And there's Shady Grady. And I am going to, with this guy, when Whip gets back, I was going to put a little black dot in the middle of his blue eye. And then I bought some silver to paint on his monocle. And then I was going to take a little bit of this stuff and put it right over the monocle so that way it's even got an extra. Whoa, when I left, the sun really came through the window. Just to give it a really good extra little bit of glare. But yep. But that was my morning. I almost crashed into a girl. She came out of the gas station with plenty of a gap between me and her to get, driving out on the road. But then there were some boys walking on the side of the road, and she like slammed on her brakes, and I almost smashed right into her while she had to wave at the high school boys. I guess they're all off for the holiday. That's probably why all the kids were out. Totally makes sense now. Because I was thinking, why are there so many kids at Walmart at 10 o'clock in the morning? But yep. But let's see, what else am I doing? Right now, I want to prep my 200-gallon tank. I've got a 200-gallon square cube type tank. And right now it's holding one great big Severin, green spotted Severin. I'm going to bring to Bob Kaler from Kaler's Aquatics and Reptiles now. I think he added reptiles to his name. And then I'm going to put some plants in that tank because it never had plants in it because I used to have geophagus in there. But I had a pair of threadfin acaras made up, and they killed all my geos. And then because they made it up, and I put them in a 55-gallon tank just to have their babies, and the female started eating the eggs, and the boy beat her up so bad, I put her back in the 200, and then the other fish finished her off. They saw weakness, so that sucked. And then that boy, I didn't want to put him back in the tank because he had killed so many fish. Well, he, I think, died of a broken heart. I mean, it only took a couple of weeks, and he had died in the corner of the tank. And I'm like, what? And so now that's like my jail cell because now I've got a red devil in there that killed almost everybody else in that tank. So all I have is the one Severin, and he's a big, beautiful guy. I mean, he's just, yeah, I could eat him. And so we're gonna give him to Bob, and then I'm gonna put all these beautiful turquoise rainbow fish that Lumpy Dog gave me into that tank. He gave me 12. He mailed them to me. All of them made it. So I'm gonna throw them in that tank, and then I've got one dwarf neon rainbow, and it's a girl because it's got the red or the yellow on its fins. Because they are pretty cool because the boys have the red fin and then the girls have the yellow, but otherwise they look identical. And I've thought about trying to buy like 10 more, well, probably 12 more to have a little school of them. Has anybody ever had the dwarf neon rainbows with the uh the big blue guys, the turquoise? I think the turquoise are supposed to be pretty nice fish, so I think they should all be okay together. And then I thought I've heard that a lot of people keep the Congo tetras with their rainbows. So I thought I'd also maybe get a dozen Congo tetras. So that all of a sudden that tank would just be full of liveliness and a lot of fun instead of just fish that hide in the corner and don't do much. I enjoyed the red devil because he would like even try to intimidate me. He'd come up to the glass and everything, and he was kind of fun. But man, I don't like dedicating my biggest tank to one fish. I just don't like that. I mean, and I know that Whip, he has it all over his basement, one fish tanks. So I don't know. I wish I knew how to do surveys, and then we could do a survey. Who prefers single fish tanks versus colonies? But I so much prefer the colony fish. Now, one thing is I need to check out what the parameters for those rainbows are. I know that the uh, turquoise is 70 to 80 for a temperature range, and my pH they're super tough too, so they don't have any problems with the pH. My pH is pretty neutral here. It's about 7.2. But I'm going to be adding 2 concrete statues that I'm coating. So hopefully they don't pull the pH down. I'll check and watch it. But I'm going to add these 2 statues and then I'm going to fill them. They're like potters. And I'm going to fill them with jungle val. So I'll have all this jungle val coming out of the top of the head of these things. I think it'll look pretty neat. And so that'll be there. Yeah, Dennis, I like the schools too. Oh, Monster. Well, you see, I would expect Monster Fish Gal to say that she likes red devils. I mean, the monster kind of goes with devils, and she likes the big fish. So there you go. But yep, my rainbows are in with cichlids. Oh wow, and Severins. Wow. Um, this it's a green spotted Severin, and I believe that's probably the most aggressive from what I've heard of the Severins. And I mean, he held his own with that Red Devil for a long time. And it was when I came back from the clash. They didn't eat for like probably 5 days. And then as soon as I dropped the food in and left, because I was there the first tank I feed, and I kept going. And I think what happened was that Red Devil didn't want to share the food, and he just tore that Severin apart. I mean, luckily it came completely back, but I was afraid he was going to lose an eye. And when a fish gets bit in the eye, it's a big weakness for me. I really hate the concept of anything being blind. It just, I mean, I would hate to be blind, but like if I see a poor blind animal, I feel so bad for them. And a fish losing an eye is just, I mean, they got one eye on this side, one eye on this side. So now everything is just black for the rest of their life on one side of their body. It would just be horrible. But I pulled the Red Devil and threw him in there in the 55 jail. And I mean, it's been since the clash. So he's been in that 55 a lot longer than I planned. But I wanted to take him to Jess and Josh, the metalheads, but they're just such a far drive for me. I think I might take him to Cookville because there is a place called Age of Aquarium, and this pet store is probably got the most fish tanks I've ever seen. And I mean, they have lots of like 1,000-gallon tubs where they keep their big fish. And like one kid was bringing in a shovel nose, a red tail catfish, and something else. Maybe it was two shovel nose and a red tail. But I mean, they were huge. So I'm sure that they could put him in with like they have tubs with just plecos. They could probably throw him in with one of the pleco tanks even, and he'd just be real pretty. That bright orange and that black tank would be awesome. So, yep, that's one of my things I need to do in the next couple weeks. I'm gonna start getting ready for tubbing. I'm not gonna start tubbing until probably mid-May, but this year I've decided I'm going to paint the bottom of my tubs white. And the concept of that is for when I go to harvest the guppies. Because like how I catch my guppies is I like take a white plate and I put it in there. Because I mean, first I catch it like 99% of them right away, but there's those big females that hide. And so you can't give them up. So I put a white plate on the bottom of that black bottom. And when they go over the white plate, I scoop them quick. And I thought if the whole thing was white, I could scoop them all over the place. And it'd be a lot harder for frogs to hide if a frog tries to hide from me. But yep. And let's see what else. All right, I'm gonna do 4 tubs of guppies. I was gonna try to do rice fish in one, but my rice fish colony has really fallen apart, and I'm down to just 2 rice fish. So it wasn't really a colony, but I bought like 8 of them, and 6 passed away. So I don't know. I think I may have to try to buy some more rice fish too. But yeah. Oh, look, Whip's back. So now you guys get to be really entertained.
Yeah, right. How we doing? Sorry about that.
Oh, no. I was just
I,
talking about my plans and the things I got to do.
when you have poop backing up into your house, you gotta take a break.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if
That's
I've
pretty
made it
rough.
public, but yeah, my septic has failed. My septic field, I'm hoping, and not the whole septic thing, but yeah, we're looking. I think I brought it up on Freak's show yet last night. I'm like, yep. Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger because life is going to keep throwing things at you that you're saving up for, and then you have to spend the money on that instead of what you were saving it for. I said, you know what? Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger and hope that it all works out.
Well, this is so weird. We didn't know we had a septic tank at this house because we got basically two separate places. So I'm on normal sewer, but my mom and dad are on septic. We had no idea because we're like right in the middle of town. And
Yeah.
what happened was it was during when all my family got COVID. Well, like three of my nieces and nephews got COVID, and so did my mom and dad. So they all lived with my mom and dad for 2 weeks because this is during the height of the scare. And then I just lived where I do and never opened any doors or anything. So I didn't, and it was probably the best 2 weeks of my life. I loved quarantining by myself with nothing but my fish and my cats. It was awesome. But the girls put potatoes down the septic and clogged it all up, or down the garbage disposal.
Mhm.
And then we had to get a plumber out to fix it after the fact. And I mean, I went out and bought them. Oh gosh, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Um,
Well,
I went out and got some hefty duty stuff to pour down the drain to clean it out. But then we found out they're on a septic. My mom and
yeah.
dad are.
And that stuff will kill all the bacteria. Septic tanks have a bacteria in them, just like your fish tanks, that helps break all the waste down. So when you pour that Drano or whatever it is that you happen to buy, it destroys all the
Yeah, and
bacteria got in there.
I bought the most high powered acid you could get. They recommend it for professionals. But I got it. And they said, like, wear rubber gloves and everything when you use it. And of course I didn't. I just popped it off. But my dad complained to the city and said, well, what has he been paying for sewer all this time? And the city said, oh, well, we have septic service. So now every year they come out and suck his septic for free.
Oh, nice, because that's up like $150 bill right there.
Yeah. But I mean, he's paying for sewer.
Yeah, so
So,
I guess maybe it probably works out about the same. I don't know what he's paying for sewer, but it probably isn't much. But you add it up over the course of a year, probably about 150, 200 bucks.
just, but it just blew us away because, we had septic back in Missouri because we were out in the country. And there's always problems happening. My dad had like this 3-tier thing where it would go from one to another to another. It was like some super fancy
Mhm.
deal before it would leach into the field. And when you get more fancy, you get more breaks.
Yep. It's the way it is with anything. That's why I bought my truck. I told him I don't want electric seats. The only thing I want electric is the windows and the locks. That's all I want.
Yep.
Because otherwise, it's just this shit that'll break down on you.
Yep. Well, and then my house, I had to have septic also, but I had 3 bathrooms, but I was just a single guy. But I still had to have a giant septic tank for a huge family because of the size, how many bathrooms. So I never once had to drain my septic in the 10 years I had it.
Oinky's here. And Nancy
Hey,
B
Oinky.
and Benji, and I missed a whole bunch of people, and I'm sorry I missed some of a lot of comments. I don't know if Ed caught them, but if you had
Oh, I don't
something,
know if
oh,
I
you don't
did
even
a
have
good
chat
job
up,
or
do
not.
you?
I didn't bring up the real one. I just have the little StreamYard one on the side.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
I've got
got too.
so much junk in front of me. I need to clean this out so I can get it closer to me.
You
But I've
can't
been
see it
planning on
because
painting.
I hit it by the camera that's over
I mean,
there.
look, it's farther than my hand.
I did that right before we went live. I'm like scooping up all this crap that's here to put it over on the other side of the camera so nobody will see it.
Well,
Hey, bipolar.
I discovered I got to paint the back of my guy's head, or he has a weird birthmark.
What do you do with that? Paint it flesh color or something? Or
Yeah,
hey,
well, he
Jesse,
was black. It's actually a black plastic, but I'm making it Dr. Mindbender. So I need to put a little black spot in his pupil and paint his monocle. Here's his upper body.
this is the one
Here's
that
his
was black and
legs.
you painted it, right?
Yeah.
Melvin?
And like this was all red, his cape. Oh, that was something I was going to do. I was going to try to look for rubber little cobra snakes. But you see, that'll be his body. I think he's looking really cool, honestly.
When are you going to do one for me?
You
Of
want
me.
a
Of
GI
me.
Joe?
Yeah, make me a GI Joe.
Oh,
I want to be a GI Joe.
you want your own guy?
Yeah,
Well, I'll make you someday. I'll make a whip.
make a
What's
whip.
whip? What's whip specialized in? Whips or like how about a chain gun? And you whip the chain gun around and kill everybody with the chain gun.
I will leave that to your artistic vision.
We'll have to put a whip on your hip, though.
For sure. Gotta. Hey, Pep, I
Well,
don't
do
know
you
if I
mind if
saw
I
you earlier.
paint while we
What,
chat?
what's that?
Is it okay if I paint a little while we
Oh,
chat?
absolutely. And I was going to bring up the what was it you wanted to keep talking about yesterday before you found out that Skip Daddy wasn't going?
Oh, well, do you remember when Jason and Joanna were talking about fish stores?
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to have a fish store discussion. And last night I kept forgetting everything I wanted to say because I kept doing drawings and stuff, and we just kept talking about all sorts of stuff. But you know what? I have to blow my nose because my sinuses are going insane right
They
now.
are out of control right now.
I'm just going to stop my camera so nobody sees how gross this is.
That would be cool too. I love the twin bladed axes. The guy that made my stands, he owns and operates his own forge, and I wanted him to make me a twin bladed battle axe. That would have been awesome.
We talked about building a forge or like a blacksmith's barn in our house in Kansas City or in St. Louis, and we were getting all the planes down and everything because my brother was a huge welder and loved all that stuff. But he was on dialysis, and we found out that the heat generated, from all that stuff would melt the rubber tubing in his stomach from his dialysis stuff.
Oh,
And so we never did it. We decided to cancel. So that was a fun, lousy story to tell.
yeah.
Hey,
Dreams gone amiss.
in Sketinonia, I hope she won both the statues last night, but I was trying to get it so we would, every time somebody would win, I eliminated that person and then keep going. But she won the first one, and then I accidentally started the whole thing over, so her name was still in there. And she ended up winning the second set of fingers. And I just feel really bad. I hope she's not upset that we re-rolled for her fingers. I'll try
Skitty,
to.
are you still in here? You were in here.
I just saw her. I'll
Yeah,
do
like
something
three
nice
minutes
for
ago.
her.
Hey, Jenna.
Hi,
How are we
Jenna.
doing today, Jenna? Quirky? Oh, she's just
Oh
telling
wait,
you how to do it. Yeah, look at that. I went to click
hi,
on
Merrick.
Jenna and I got Quirky. She is good at it. I've seen her win multiple times. Multiple times, like
Who is?
yesterday, in fact. Skitty.
Well, I'll try to put something special in there. So I'll try to figure out something to
Merrick is here. Hey,
because it's
you
pretty
don't have to be on
impressive the way
replay
it
team.
walks.
He's almost always on
Merrick's
replay.
awesome.
There
Merrick's
she is, and she said she doesn't mind, Ed.
I felt
Just
really
send her a
bad.
sticker.
Well, I'll send you a couple stickers. I even have a Daniken sticker I'll send you. He gave me a whole mess of his stickers, and his stickers are so big, I can't put them in all the envelopes and stuff that I'd like to send to people sometimes. So
If I can get it to him before he mails you your sticker, I will send him one of my stickers to stick in there too. That was a lot of
that'd
sticking
be awesome.
stickers.
I want to try to make a Nico sticker.
I don't think he'd appreciate it.
Actually, that stupid cat would probably try to eat them all.
Right?
He loves the glue from sticky stuff. He tries to eat any type of tape or sticker. I can't keep it anywhere around him because I'm terrified that someday he's going to get really sick.
How are your peepers? Can you read that?
Ed, can you send me Nico? I don't know.
Gracie asked nicely.
I know. Nico, that's one of my biggest regrets. Right. Is with Nico is I didn't train him to travel when he was a kitten. And now, as soon as he gets into the car, he thinks he's going to the vet and just starts crying so bad. And I wish I would have made it so I could take him to the park, like in one of those backpacks, or take him to oh, well, look at that. His back of his head looks pretty nice already.
Yeah, it does.
I thought I was going to have to do a lot of work on his stupid melon.
He needs to hit the scanning booth, though.
He's a white dude. He was, when I was a kid, he was a super white guy. He's a dentist. I got his card, and I'll show you how white he is. Oh, man. Yesterday, I had the CAT scans done of me. And when I got off the CAT scan thing, it was like a canoe almost, so you can't roll out.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled a muscle in my stomach. And it's just killing me now. Whenever I get up.
Hopefully it's not a hernia.
Well, that would really suck to get a hernia in your stomach from your CAT scan.
I've got...
it's over here.
Oh, mine's right down the center. And I
have a hernia on my breastbone.
Oh, did you? So you know what they feel like. They're fun.
Yeah, I got him. There he is. And he looks more tan there than his actual. But when you compared him to the other GIs, he was always a very pale dude.
Pale?
Yeah. Well, dentists don't get out because they work a lot of hours. And then when you moonlight as a torturer, because Dr. Mindbender tortures people till he gets the information he wants.
So now, is this going to be one of the fish fam, or are you just kind of making him from so that you have him?
He was one of my favorite characters growing up because he kind of looked like the Iron Sheik, and I used to have him. With Sergeant Slaughter all the time. And he didn't wear a shirt, so he's just really a wrestling type looking guy. Well, they made his new G.I. Joe, but they made him so rare, he costs $170 to buy now. And I'm not spending $170 for a G.I. Joe. So I'm painting and making my own G.I. Joe, and I think it looks freaking awesome. Or so far, I'm really enjoying it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find his toy and see if he's that pale.
But you were going to go back just while you're looking. You were talking about. See, we got distracted again. Pet stores. Going into pet stores. Yes. What was it you were looking to talk about? Just what you're looking for when you go in. Like what was your what was the point you wanted to try to push?
Well, I wanted to talk about just our fish stores and what our favorite fish stores were, and like, what things do you really like about your fish store? See, just
Oh
a
yeah,
pale guy.
yeah, yeah.
But I miss the day. Remember back in the 80s when it seemed like you went every fish store you went to, all the fish were in a back room that was dark.
Yep.
And you walk through the door or the archway or something, and they used to have like different things on the archways, like sea nets or all sorts of things that didn't really apply to what's in your fish tank, but they applied to the ocean.
Right.
I used to love that.
Yeah, and you know why they did it is because they wanted the lights off in there so that the tanks stuck out. You know, they popped. Hey, Sue.
Yeah, they really did. So
So yeah,
yeah, I
and
miss that.
they've kind of gotten away from that now.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I'm trying to think of a well, okay, the aquarium in Knoxville. It has that. It has a separate area where you go into a dark area and you get to look at all the fish in the dark.
Hmm. Yeah, because you're right. Back in the '80s, I don't remember going into fish stores in the '70s, but in the '80s, that was the way it was set up. The fish room was always in the back corner, in the back room. You know, somewhere where they can make it a little bit darker without annoying the customers who are trying to find something for Fluffy or Sparky or whatever. You know, their little furry friend.
Or even the dry goods, because you couldn't find the dry goods anywhere else. You know, the fish store sold all the fish stuff. That
Yeah.
you couldn't find it anywhere else. You couldn't find I mean, you might be able to find a little bag of gravel or something like at a Walmart, or not a Walmart, but like TG and Y, or just in the little bitty in some cheapy food. But yeah, did you guys even have TG and Y?
I don't. That does not sound familiar.
Yeah,
We had
just
TGIF.
I used to go. TGY was the place where I would get, like, my sister would get all of her 45s there for 45, the little records.
Oh.
I remember when she got wants to get physical.
Little Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Ed, could you please send me one of your stickers with my cave? I'd love one of Whip's
Oh,
too.
I who
Depending on
said
when
that?
he mails
Normally,
it. What's that?
I normally try to put stickers in all my stuff that I send.
That was
I
from Shady.
also like, yeah, Shady. I'll send you a Fish Mafia one and a Chattanooga Ed one. I need to order more Chattanooga Ed ones. Most definitely, buddy.
So, all right. Well, TG and Y. Yeah, never heard of that. Is where we would go when we visited Grandma. Papa would give
Oh,
us $5 and she'd take us there to spend it. Yep, yep. So it was it like
that's
a
awesome.
overall kind of like
Who
buy
else
whatever,
just said that?
huh?
Who just said that?
Nancy
Oh,
D.
that Nancy.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
No,
that would have been either Florida or Georgia for her, and mine was in Kansas City. That's pretty cool.
well, or Tennessee. I mean,
Oh, well, her grandparents could have been anywhere.
right, right.
Nancy, where are your grandparents from? We need to
Yeah.
know.
Give us an address.
Because in Kansas City, that'd have been hilarious.
I have heard of Woolworth. I don't think I've ever been in there, Oinky, to be honest with you. Oh, she was in Florida at the time, or they
Okay.
were.
Well, Woolworths were like those big apartments. It was like a big. They like bought the big old stores, and like there's a Ben Franklin's downtown Belleville, Illinois, that used to be a Woolworths.
I know they were
And
around. Yeah.
then there's a Woolworths in Columbia, Illinois, where I almost they turned it into a whole bunch of spots, and I almost rented a square out of it for a photo studio, but I decided not to. I think that this Age of Aquarium that I was talking about earlier, that's that mega giant fish store in Cookville,
Hmm.
I think it could have been a Woolworths because it's almost like a whole city block long. But
No kidding.
it's just one mega long shotgun sized. But I don't know what they have upstairs, if they have anything upstairs, or maybe it's an apartment now upstairs. But it goes all the way back, and then it even goes downstairs, and it's neat. I can't wait to go there sometime with you. I think
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it.
I don't think I'll have time this next trip because we're only coming down for 2 days. But who knows? I think weirder things have happened. I can give you a
Yeah,
holler, see if you're busy that day, if we have a free day.
that'd be
So
awesome.
I just I don't know if I told you I had my land cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I saw it.
that's where the whole where when you first came in talking about the septic field, sometimes you just got to do it. I mean, I literally I just dumped a ton of money paying a guy to clear my land, and I came back home to find that my septic is failing, and that's going to cost like 15 grand. And I'm like, God, man. I mean, everything has to happen at the same time. So,
Sucks.
but check this out. I know we're out of time, and if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna keep on
Oh,
rolling, but
yeah,
just
it
for a
went
minute.
by so fast.
That's not it. And how do you share again? Present, right?
Uh, yeah, it's right next to settings.
Share a screen.
Well,
Got it. And then that's this one. Share. So this is my Facebook page. Oh, did it not go? Son of a beeswax. Let me refresh. Oh yeah, there it is. So this is just a bunch of boring pictures that I can show you real quick. That we weren't there to see it happen because I had to come home. I went down there on Wednesday, got there at 3 o'clock, a little after 3 o'clock on Wednesday, and my boss called me and said we need you back by Friday. So I spent all of Thursday driving back. So I had no time to spend down there. This
now, does your boss realize you're out of town?
Yeah, he knew it, but it was a big deal. It was a big job. It was involving a helicopter and stuff. So it wasn't like we could just push that back. You know what I mean? That wasn't reschedulable. So I
Did he give you like any extra vacation days, like comp time or anything? Or
um I cannot confirm nor deny just in case somebody's listening, but I might have gotten,
okay,
yeah. But
okay.
yeah,
Well,
it,
that would
it
be nice
still
if
was a
they
lot
take.
of it was a lot of crap to. So that's a giant pile that he put in the middle that I have to somehow take care of. But the whole place looked like that, like what's beyond what you see there in the picture. The whole place looked like that, and I wanted to flatten it out a little bit and
Now, is
get
that
an
like
idea, get an
is
idea
that the
where the
road
house
that
is going to
kind of
go.
goes? Is that like is your house going to be back down in the road there?
Can you? I don't know if you
Or
can. Can you see my cursor, or is that probably not
yeah,
coming up
I
on?
can see it.
It's
No, I
the
can see it.
house is going to be over this direction somewhere.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking this was from the street.
You and I sat right up here You know, if we
Huh?
walked through this little pathway to get back to the clearing, but we were actually
Yeah,
by the road that is up here.
that's okay.
So you can see, I mean, he did a pretty good job. My neighbor said you better get some grass seed thrown down, or the heavy rains are going to wash all your topsoil off. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, dang.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I mean,
we didn't get to see the finished product. There's the road, if you can kind of see it, that you drove up.
yep.
That was the neighbor, the one neighbor, the only other guy that's built out here yet. That's his house right there.
I'm trying to
That you
think.
won't be
Was his
able to see
name
in a couple months.
Frank?
What's that?
Was his name Frank?
Ron.
Ron.
Ron and boy,
Okay, for here on out, I'm going to try to associate him with Ronald Reagan.
there you go.
You live next to Ronald Reagan, the dead president. I,
But that pile isn't
if
nearly
I,
as bad as I was anticipating. I was anticipating a much bigger pile. That's my view. It's that'll be pretty kick ass when I get those
it is.
lead trees out of the way. He could only get so close to the drop off. I said, "Don't. I don't want to get a call saying that you fell 150 feet down into the ravine." He's
You
like, "I
guys,
won't."
he was afraid I was going to fall off the side when I was looking.
I was because I don't have insurance on it yet, and that's not an
Yeah,
invitation for any of you guys to go out there and fall off my ravine.
but it's me. It, if I'd fall off, you wouldn't need insurance. I just say that's where he was.
He was supposed to meet me out here, and his truck is here, but I don't know where he is. I don't know where he went.
And you see the turkey vultures in a circle.
Yeah, right. And
That is one
bobcat's
thing. We have
pretty
a lot
easy.
of turkey vultures where we live.
Yep, and hawks. One of the things that drew me to this place was as soon as we get out of our vehicles, and you see that view, and you hear the screech, the high pitched screech of a hawk flying overhead, and I'm like, man, it's like you set that up. If a deer runs across here, I know there's something, somebody's playing. There's my camera,
Nice.
keeping an eye on things.
Do you
There's a
see
lot
some
of
pretty cool
pictures.
stuff?
Um, no, actually, I don't know if I've never had a trail cam, so I didn't know exactly how to set it up.
My sister's trail cam, they got 3 of them out there, but they've taken photos of deer and uh raccoons all the time together, like hanging out in this area, and sometimes a black bear goes by too.
We've got a bobcat that I was hoping to get on film, but nope. Do you know what you want? I can't read that. It's too little. Do you know
It
what you
is
want
monocle.
to build? Uh, what do you mean? Like
What type of house do you want to build? Do you want to
a
build an
type?
A-frame?
Oh no, it'll just be a ranch. My pockets aren't that deep, so I can't go crazy. I mean, what we want and what we can afford are two different things, obviously. So it'll just
I'm
be a
guessing
ranch.
that's what they said. Meant.
Yeah, maybe what you want to build. Yeah, that makes sense. So it'll just be a ranch, but it's got to, due to the covenant, it's got to be 2,000 square feet or bigger. So it's going to be bigger than the house we're leaving, which is weird,
Oh,
but it's still not a huge house, even 2,000 square
it's
feet.
it's based on the size of your house now. That's
But
the
my
goofiest thing I've ever
my
heard.
my current house is only 1,400 square feet. I have a very small house.
Yeah, but why would they care what your house is
Oh,
Now,
I don't know. You know how covenants are. I can't have a second homestead on the property. Like if my dad wanted to move down there with us and give him his own little house on the property, I can't do that. You can't. You're not supposed to have chickens. Um, which I don't know who would care. You're not supposed to use the property for a business, although that property that you could kind of see in the pictures, that was a B and B for up until a couple of years ago when that Ron guy bought the house, and now it's just a house. But uh,
so
yeah, it's just
a
there.
covenant
It's a
is like
covenant
an
that
HOA.
nobody. What's that?
Is a covenant
Yes,
like an
yeah,
HOA?
that's what it basically is.
Okay, well then that's probably what I had when I was, because they had different sizes if you had a ranch versus a 2-story, and they wanted to make sure people wouldn't build a shack on there in the
Right,
middle of
and
the
that's
neighborhood.
basically what this is for. You can't have a mobile home on the property for more than a year. Like you could put one on here temporarily while you're building your house, but you only have a year to build and get it off. Oh, sorry. I attempted to get to the cough button, but I missed. Nancy, I
Well,
am going to be moving to Cook. No, I'm going to be moving to Spencer, Tennessee, which is roughly a half an hour to 40 minutes south of Cookville, if you know where Cookville is, or
and
an hour north of Ed in Chattanooga-ish area. So
yeah,
it's right on 111, if you know where 111 is, in
I think I
Spencer.
got to your house in 45 minutes. I think, but I'm not for sure.
Well, didn't you say
But
you stopped? You said you stopped. So did you
yeah, I
get
stopped
like,
at the gas station.
yeah, to get
But
food?
I actually
Hey,
I
Steven.
live I don't live in Chattanooga. When I moved to Chattanooga originally to get a house in Chattanooga, but it's really hard to find a house in Chattanooga because it's in the mountains and it's a popular place. So I ended up finding this place in Dayton, Tennessee, which is like a little town just outside of Chattanooga. It's the home of the Scope monkey trials. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. It's where they fought evolution, the theory about it being taught in schools or to be taught. I don't know if they were fighting to keep it out or to fight to keep it in or what they were doing, but I don't know. I've never been to the Scope monkey trials because I'm not big into monkeys.
So you can burn
Just
that on the
creep me
right
out.
day. My only fear, Dix, is I have no running water up there. So if it gets away from me, that could be really bad. I mean,
Now,
like
does it
really, really
rain there a
bad.
lot like it does here?
I would imagine I'm only 45 minutes to an hour from you. So, I mean, the weather can't be that vastly different.
Well, it's just the mountains. I don't know how they catch and hold stuff because Chattanooga is like a valley, and so it really holds the rain clouds in. I think, and that's why they get so
Uh,
much. But still, it might just go all. I don't know how it works at the mountains, but yeah, hopefully you get lots of rain. We had we're averaging about 70 inches of rain here a year. That's a
yeah, it's
lot of rain.
crazy.
I There was one August I didn't wasn't able to get into my pool but 2 days because it rained every day but 2 days in August. And I come from Missouri where it might rain once in August. It's like I love being in the pool in the hot weather.
Right. Mr. Garcia is in the house.
Gar.
Garcia. And the lady's name was Phyllis. My wife just told me. Mrs. Whip just let me know. Ron and Phyllis.
Well, if you do some tubbing, you'll have to make sure that your tubs don't overflow also out here.
Yeah, I think
I
you just
never
drill
add
holes,
water.
right?
Yeah, I drilled holes under the lip,
Yeah.
but
You
man,
might
I
lose some
never add
pride.
water. Well, I do really small holes, but there was still like one of the hurricanes last year that came up. When the hurricanes come here, the wind stops. The mountain stops the wind, but the rain just keeps pouring. So I don't know. We get like 7 inches sometimes, and it's still the holes can't keep up with it even.
Right. I'm gonna probably put a bigger hole just because I don't keep little fish, although I might have to. I don't know. We'll see.
I put siphons on it to siphon the water out when it's real bad. We we had a rain just a couple days ago. It was 3 inches. It's
Oh,
crazy.
really? Well, I was talking about that. I don't know if you were here yet, or you were probably waiting, waiting in the green room, well, not
That's all
being
right.
seen.
The snacks are great in the green room.
The snow that came down a week ago today was crazy. I mean, crazy, crazy. I didn't post those anywhere, but I mean, it was blizzard-like conditions. It was,
Oh man.
I mean, it literally took me a 2-hour drive to make a 45-minute normal drive because of the people making, people are very people-y, I like to say, and yeah, they would just lose their minds. I mean, we just went through winter. Now, granted, it wasn't a very heavy winter for snow up here, but I mean, literally, we're not even really out of winter yet, and people forgot how to drive in the snow already. There was cars in the ditches all over the place. I mean, people were stopping in front of a hill that before they go up the hill in the snow, which is always a brilliant thing to do because trying to go up a hill from a dead stop in the snow doesn't work so great. So it looks like
Well,
Skitty is in a smaller home as well. That's
where's
about the
she at?
same size as my daughter's house. She's in the 800s. Very nice little house, but she has a basement. I don't know if you have a basement. No access to the basement from the inside, but they do have a basement. At least they can store stuff. Sorry, I cut you right
Well,
off.
no, it's all right. I've been away from, I used to love driving in the snow. I look forward to snow days. I love seeing all the white. And the best is when you're snowed in, you can't leave, because that's the true wonderful feeling. But
Right.
now I've been out of the snow for almost 6 years, and I don't want to drive in snow ever again. I don't want to drive. I think about it, and it's like, I think I'd rather just keep my truck in the driveway. You know,
I
it's
like it
terrible.
when there's nobody else around.
Mhm.
Because I have a 4-wheel drive truck. I not that 4-wheel drive trucks can't get stuck or whatever because they can if you're a dummy. If you don't know what you're doing
Oh,
or if you're trying to do more than your truck can do, you
I used to.
definitely can get
I
stuck. But
and you throw sandbags in the back to weight it
yeah,
down a little in the back. Yeah, I used to do that, and I'd have my blazer. I'd even throw sandbags in the back of my blazer.
hey Babs, yep, you made the tail end here. We're on overtime. I'm stepping all over Johnny's shoes.
Oh, poor Johnny.
Um, Yeah, I totally lost what I was going to say. Oh no, but I just I used to have all kinds of fun going out and doing donuts and spinning the back end around and whatnot. But if you have other people that you're dealing with too, then it's not as fun. I may have cursed a time or three when I was stuck behind people making silly decisions. Maybe.
Yep. Oh, I know I am. The coolest thing I ever did, though,
Oh, he's not
was,
going
uh,
today. Hey, we can go another hour.
oh,
Or
awesome. Well, then I'm going to paint a little more.
yeah, paint up.
Well, the coolest thing I ever did was I drove over the JV Bridge. Um, my buddy Puff and we got tickets to Monday Night Nitro that was going to be in St. Louis, and this one we lived in Illinois. And the JV Bridge is a bridge that connects Illinois to Missouri from South City or South
Mhm.
County. We were we went to Walmart and we bought stuff to make our costumes. We were driving back, and I hit the ice on the bridge, and the bridge is like a 3-mile long bridge because it goes way over the floodplain. And I was like a NASCAR driver. I would like as soon as I'd almost hit somebody, I'd throw it in reverse and turn it, and I went back and forth. And there were cars all over the place on this bridge. I went the whole 3 miles in reverse, forward, sideways, everything. Two of my tires deflated from hitting the side of the bridge, or I filled them up and they were fine after. But I went all the way to the end of the other side. We were like past the bridge in the field when I jacked up my car. It was amazing. And my buddy Puff was like, dude, that was just like NASCAR. It's like, well, I don't know, but it was cool. I was so proud of myself. I wish I could have had a a remote, a camera,
The
dashboard
dash
camera,
cam, yeah.
because people would have thought I was amazing. It was if you get like 20 minutes of amazingness out of every person's life, that would have been my 20 minutes.
I don't have 20 minutes, but I did have an amazing shot one time. You know what? Have you ever played quarters in your younger days, where
Uh,
you bounce the
oh,
quarter off the
yeah.
table into the shot glass? I hit a glass from about I don't know, 15 feet away, off a
Wow.
different table, from one table to another table, that because they had set up several, for the party where you're at. And I did it, and it went in, and nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. And I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God, nobody saw that. And they're like, what? I said, I hit the shot glass from here. And there like, bullshit, So I did it again, and I hit it again 2 times in a row from that far away. And the second time, everybody saw it. So I'm like, that's right, I win. And I dropped the mic
wow.
and I walked away.
Did anybody buy you a drink?
Nope, I had to make them drink. So
Well, yeah, but that's the bummer side of the whole story.
right. Now that people know I'm not ending, and that they're bailing on me. That's all right.
Uh,
We got
that's
40 in here still.
Oh wow. 40 in the middle of the day is amazing, really. Because I mean, people are working and stuff, and they're
Right.
still
That's
tuning in. That's pretty
honestly,
awesome.
I was shocked that I had anybody in here, to be honest with you. Now it doesn't hurt, and then it actually helps a lot, I'm sure, to have Foxy, leading into me. Whereas before, it would have been
Yeah.
nothing. Nobody's
I've
up.
got
Nobody.
I got to get into one of those streams. I'm honest. I'll be honest. I'm always asleep.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
Unless we
everybody
got
understands by now that you are a night owl and you don't go to bed until the morning. So I
well,
think
today I
everybody
knew we
understands
had
that.
to shop. Probably gonna have to go shopping again tomorrow or later today, but when we figure out, we don't know exactly who's
Hey,
coming
later,
over
Freaky.
for. Oh, is Freaky leaving?
Yep.
See ya.
She's had all she can stand. She can stand no more.
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I don't blame her at all.
But yeah, I mean, I know you stay up and but I thought for sure when you said you might be able to make it, I'm like, there's no way he's making it today. He's going to have the 20,000 uh, live stream with the, celebratory, whatever you're doing afterwards. And he's going to be up all night. There's no way.
I wasn't. I went to bed really early last night, actually. Pretty bizarre. But I was pretty tired because I had to get up yesterday at 7 in the morning because the hospital never confirmed what time my tests were yesterday. So I had to wake up, and I woke up at 7, called, and they still didn't answer their phone. So I called at 7:30. They still didn't answer. So I called at 9, and they said, "Yeah, you're supposed to be here at 10:15." Luckily, they're only 5 minutes from my house.
Right.
But it's like, and so I said, "Why?" why didn't you guys call me ever? And they put my phone number down as 1111111.
Oh, that's a trouble. That's a problem.
So it's like, yeah, that's probably why they didn't call me.
You're right. They probably tried and or went to try and they're like, well, I don't know where that's going, but it ain't going ahead.
Well, and they also didn't have all my insurance, and they said it was going to be a $300 copay, and I was like, almost had a heart attack. But took care of that too, which was good.
Right.
I don't like copays. Copays stink.
Hippies doing a little working and lurking.
Awesome.
Awesome. Freaky's going fishing in the beautiful weather. It's
Ooh,
calling to her.
nice. Oinky goes fishing more than I go fishing. I actually haven't fished since I hurt my back.
I was gonna say I don't remember you talking about fishing ever. So
I used to fish. My buddy and I, he had a boat, and we would go after work to Mark Twain Lake sometimes and go fishing and stuff. It was a lot of fun. My buddy, he just died this year. He died, or I guess it was the beginning of last year. He died. He was fighting cancer, and they thought he was on the right side of it, and some hose or something came loose inside of him, and he died at home after they released him. And his son, who was also in my fantasy baseball and football leagues, he just died a month ago. He had a weird something happen. Aneurysm. He had an aneurysm. But I mean, he was a young kid
right.
with a whole mess of kid. He had a mess of kids. I think he had 5 kids.
Wow.
I remember when he was in high school. Shows how old I am. And we were so afraid he was going to be a Nimrod. And nothing personal to the Nimrods out there, but he ended
Yeah,
up
Mike.
actually being a decent dad and had a job and cooked dinner for his kids and everything. But like I say, I'm not attacking the Nimrods
Well,
because
not that they
they,
don't need a good attacking once in a while.
yeah. But I mean,
It's kind of implied.
like, okay, so he lived with his dad, but his mom was paying, or he was paying child support to his mom, but he was living with the dad. So they went to court to get him off, or just make it so the mom paid for the daughter's because she lived with her, and he paid for his because it wasn't fair. He's paying for both of them, and well, get this: they bribed him, the son, to move back in with the mom. So when they were in court, not only did Tom, he was hoping to cut his child support,
They
he
jacked
ended
it.
up paying more. Yeah, they raised it on him, and his son moved out. But man, he he had a bizarre situation. He was married to his wife, and he had one of the guys from work living with him, and he had twins with his son and his daughter, so he got snipped right away. And then his wife got pregnant again, and it was from the guy from work.
Ah,
And the state of Missouri won't let you divorce your wife if she's pregnant. So he had to stay with her through the whole thing, and then he had to fight to not pay child support on the kid. But she moved in with Scott, the guy from work, and then Scott became Tom's boss.
oh no.
So when they went to split the child support in half, Scott brought all of Tom's payroll in and said, look, he should be paying more. I mean, what a dirtbag.
Right? That's a dirty pool.
That is. But
So Uncle
luckily,
Uncle
Isaiah became a
Smiley,
good kid.
what's that?
That's the All that bizarreness.
That is a twisted tale right there. Uncle Smiley says, "Do you guys think that James will ever stream again?" And I hope he will, but he has terrible internet connection out there, so I don't know that he will unless that gets rectified. Right? Isn't that what you basically been? Pardon me.
Yeah. I heard that, like, he tried to come back a couple weeks ago and just watch people's stuff. And I don't know if he was having problems or not. Um, but
I
yeah,
mean,
I don't know, honestly.
he's gone live a couple times, and it is choppy as hell. Like when he was trying to walk around his property and whatever. So I get why he's not doing it, uh, because who wants to put up with that on your end, much less the people watching you, lock up and do this, the spinning circle of death for, even whether it's a second or 10.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
they're going to have to bring in the Elon
well,
satellite
that's what he
dish,
had. That's what he had.
and it was still terrible.
That's what his was terrible. Is
Hmm.
that what you're gonna have to have? Did you say?
I don't even know. My whole YouTube channel might go right in the crapper when we move down by 10, because I don't know what they're going to have available to us or for us. I should talk to
Well,
Ron, see what he has.
yeah, I would definitely do that.
I mean, I am getting close to I'm closer to the satellite than most people, being up on top of that mountain. I should have
Yeah,
good
well,
reception.
you're high, so that's
Hey,
really
George.
good that you're way up there. And um you're a lot closer to like civilization than James. I mean, he's way out there in no man's land.
So Knoxville is far away from him.
What?
Where's Knoxville in relationship to him?
Oh, we see he used to live in Knoxville.
That's what I know,
Now
but he
now he's about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour 30 minutes west of it. Because you know how the state has that triangle? He's kind of up in that triangle.
Oh, okay.
But not near the Virginia side where Iraq is. So he's like more in the middle. Poor guy. But I mean, I'll be honest, I've never been, I don't want to say teamed up or partnered up with, but him and I were really, I think, really good as a team. Like we
Yeah,
complemented each other really well. And I miss that we aren't still YouTubing together and a team
well,
because what he brought in knowledge, I brought in the goofiness. Yes, I don't know. I I have a I have 40 years of experience, you know, and he really, read up on his books and stuff. So he really knows he's really book savvy and smart on a lot of things. And we were just, I think, a really good team.
yeah, you definitely were. You guys are one of the reasons I even stuck around to find the other channels is because I mean it was kind of a windy path how I got to the fish fan because they started off with tortoises, and I went and I googled how to take care of a tortoise, a sulcata, and I found Camp Kennan, and Camp Kennan led me to it branched, but one way went to ponds and the other way went to fish, and at the time Kennan was uh, talking or sometimes collabing with Paul Cafaro, and Paul, he's just a kid and he was doing some wacky things. So I watched him for a little while and then I kind of backed off of that. But before I did, I found Aquarium Co-op. And I don't know how those two were related, but somehow either one of them was, suggested or however. And I
YouTube
clicked
probably
on that.
just suggested co-op because
Right, could be. And so I watched him, and back in the day, that's when Corey was like at, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and that would lead into KG Tropicals, and then KG Tropicals would lead into you guys, and it was James and you, and then you and James, and more often than not, he would join you for your show. So it was almost 2 hours of you guys. You just switch channels from his to yours, right? And then there was somebody after you, but I never watched that because it was Thursday night and I had to go to bed.
Probably Dave. Dave Aquarium Thoughts, maybe. I
Could
don't
be.
know.
It was somebody with a bigger name that I'm like, man, I wish I could stay up and watch that, but at the time I just couldn't. So I heard that too, Uncle Smiley. I don't know if that happened or not.
What's that?
He says I thought James was getting fiber installed. I don't know if
Yeah,
that ever.
he was supposed to be, and I don't know for sure if it happened or not. So hopefully James comes back.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Said hi to him about 2 weeks ago, but I'm not gonna try to put pressure on him. You
Right.
know.
Oh, it wouldn't do you any good anyway, because I mean, if he can't go, he can't go.
Yeah. But
So and then and Aquaballs, George, he says he just upgraded his internet with the same company, but it was old technology. Now he has all the new stuff. That's kind of what we did with
nice.
Xfinity. Yeah.
I probably should do more. When I first got on my own, I did a lot more educational type streams, and then I got Craft Ed because I really enjoy making things and I like talking while I paint and make stuff.
Right.
But I probably shouldn't be doing that. I should probably try to make it more, hey, Aquaballs or George, I probably should make it more educational for people so they don't all get
Well,
tired
I
of it.
mean, I don't like preaching. I am not a teacher. You know what I mean? I mean, I know a lot of stuff when it comes to aquariums. I mean, how can you not after 40 plus years? But it doesn't always apply. Like your water is 100 times different than mine, I'm sure. You know, and I can't keep the same fish you keep, and um, I don't know. It just seems like
Yeah,
there's like
one of my best.
multiple ways to do this hobby, and you know, my way is not the best way necessarily, and your way isn't necessarily the best way. Uh, do what works for you. Unless you have a question, I mean, I can. If you have a specific question, I might be able to answer it how I would do it, but that doesn't mean it'll work for you. I mean, that's just, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm thinking back to one of my best shows I think I ever had was my rock show, where all I did was show off 20 different types of rocks and just tell people what type of rocks were out there. And I should probably do another rock show, where we go through and I had them all labeled off and I had a huge board where I showed every rock and, you know, the advantages and disadvantages and if I showed how to farm your own rocks. That might have been a different episode, to drop a little bit of acid on it to see if it would bubble at all or vinegar, something to make it bubble.
You heard it here
And
first. Ed was
yeah,
dropping acid.
it wasn't vinegar. It was like a citrus acid or some type of, I can't remember what my acid was, but I put it on there and it would bubble if it was going to just come apart in your tank.
Quirky's here. Zenny's here. Hi, Zenny.
Hiya,
Uh,
Lady Zen.
uh,
Lady Zen's been with the show with Fish Room Fever and Chattanooga Ed since the very, very beginning. I don't
yeah,
know if
she
that
said
was
she
6
found the
years
fish
ago.
fam through Lisa.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. That seems like not long enough ago. Unless you're thinking of Zen. No, that's who's the other ginger? What?
Ginger Graves.
That's
No,
what it is.
no, I'm totally thinking Zen. But well, see, I was watching John before Lisa was on the show,
Yep, me too.
but I don't know if I was doing my show then.
Oh yeah, you have been here for a long time. Well, I should hi to you again because I'm forgetful.
She said 5 years.
No, she said she's been here since 5 minutes in. Oh, she's been with the show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you.
But she was our first mod, I think. The first episodes of Fish Room Fever, I didn't wear a bandana and it was like a bright light on top of my head.
Hippie's got to go. See you later, Hippie. Thanks for hanging
See you,
out.
hippie.
We're gonna take off here pretty quick too. I'm running out of things to say.
Well, I made his cod piece
Yeah, you did.
because he always had a big metal cod piece. So that way you can't kick him into jewels.
Right. I guess that's a good thing, right?
I guess.
I don't
But
remember
I
how
think,
you how Ed, do you remember how you test rocks to see if they're going to be aquarium safe? Is it muriatic acid?
oh, that's probably one of them for sure. There, almost any type of acid, if it bubbles, like I mean, any type of acid, if it would bubble on the rock, it's going to be it's too sedimental and it'll dissolve in your tank eventually.
Right. Yeah,
Even
I
though
don't.
that said, you can take like you can get bubbling off of even Texas Holy Rock sometimes because of it's a lot of it's it's limestone that's been eaten away and a
Mhm.
lot of it's crystallized, but there's still a lot of limestone in it, so it's going to bubble some. So I mean, there's some rocks that are just going to you know raise the calcium and different things. Yeah. Oh, vinegar would work. Okay, cool. I said vinegar and then I retracted on that
Hey, no,
statement.
Stephen agrees. He also said muriatic would work. It's just diluted hydrochloric. Chloric.
But
So that's why we have people in here smarter than me because I don't, that's why I don't use stuff from outside very often. I just, I'm too afraid. I know there's certain woods that you shouldn't use because they leach poisons into your water. Um, I just
I
don't want
did
to. I
do
don't
an
want to risk it.
episode. I did a wood episode live stream, I would say 5, 6 months ago on the woods to use and what not to. I think I may have called it uh fish versus fish versus wood edition. And
Right.
I talk about the bad woods and the good woods. But that was because I originally did a wood show 4 years ago and I want to redo the old content in a different way.
Right.
But
Make it.
this is what I told James because James once was saying, I don't know what's left to talk about. And I said, let's just talk about what we talked about this time last year. Because there's so many different people watching every year, that we probably won't bore that many people.
Right. I mean, I know Rico has brought it up. Something that he frets over once in a while is that he tells the same stories over and over, and but that's exactly right. I mean, there's a lot of people who are new, and they haven't. And I've heard Corey from Aquarium Co-op say that you can rehash the same content because you're always getting new people in. Now, I mean, when you're only like 450 subs, okay, you may not want to repeat yourself too many times. But when you're up at your level, at 20,000 or his at a million or whatever,
Well,
there's
I
new
think
people rolling in all the time.
you're gonna
Hey,
find
Adele.
even hey Adele, even when you get to 500, the people that are watching now, you're going to have about a 50% turnover for next year. Now, it's not necessarily that these people are giving up on you, but maybe they got to work on Fridays now. And
Right.
there's somebody that doesn't work on Fridays. It just, but these people will always be cool and love you. Well, hopefully they love you. I shouldn't say love, but like you. And but and then you just grow the new people too. Biz
Right.
Whizzle.
Yep. B-Wiz is here. The professor's here. I don't know. Somebody must have, let class out early because we're getting new people in.
And okay, Professor Fish Tanks, on Tuesday when we play Dungeons and Dragons, I want to ask you something before the stream starts and not after.
Ask me personally?
Well, Professor.
Oh, professor. Okay.
I
I was
want
gonna
to
say
be
just
able to
ask.
pronounce I want to be able to pronounce your first name right. And there's two different ways I keep saying it in my head, and I'm afraid I'm going to always say the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to upset you, so I just call you Professor. I hate when I do that, but it's terrible. Whenever I get the wrong version of a name in my head, that's the go-to.
That's the stick. Yeah, that's the one that sticks. That happens to me all the time too.
Well, KG Tropics and KG Tropicals.
Well, there's
Every
KG
time
and
it's
then
awkward.
KJ. You got to remember that Keith is KJ, but for my
Oh,
mouth to
no.
say KJ, I say KG every time.
Oh, well, I get the KG right. It was at Aquashella because I used to always have to introduce them all the time
Oh, right,
on
right.
the mic. And I would always say, okay, it's tropicals, tropicals, tropicals. KG Tropics. Or is it tropicals? I don't know. I would always say the wrong one every time. And John would just look at me like, oh my God, this guy's doing it. And John thinks I do it on purpose, so he's not as mad at me. It's not. It's just.
Well, did you?
My brain
I
is not right.
love your short where you're doing the dance thing, and he's in the background just going, ugh.
Yeah, John is such a good sport because I asked John to do that. I said, walk away like you're disgusted. And he did. And it was so cool that he did that for me. I also did one with Jess that Maine's Tail Spins and Furs
Uh-huh.
and Maine's. I did one with her, but the problem is she's too far over for me to do a vertical. Or it's gotta be it's gotta be
Right.
vertical, not horizontal. Horizontal, vertical. Well,
Vertical is this way.
she's too far. Yeah, she's too far away from me
No,
when I
horizontal
did
is
my
this way.
stupid dance. Okay. Well, I wanted to do a goofy dance with a bunch of YouTubers, and I only got those two to be willing to do it, and then she was too far away. I mean, I kind of have it, but I still have it. I tried to splice it and move it, but my skills aren't that good.
Yeah, right. You got to actually cut her out of the video and reattach her into the video so she's like next to you or behind you or something.
Yeah, well, I was literally gonna edit both sides of it and then push them together. So the gap is separate. And that's actually what I was going to do. Aquatic aesthetics.
Yeah.
I had a hard time for a long time with that one.
Say aluminum.
It's like we used to call it we go to AA.
Hey, Kitty's here.
For the longest time.
I think she was here before too, but I forget.
Zen?
No, Kitty.
Oh, Kitty. Yeah.
Kitty. Kitty.
Can't wait till we play D&D again. I've been having so much fun.
Yeah, she missed out because she had to work. Stupid work.
I know. Stupid killer Kitty.
No, that's not true, Adele. I've heard more people like your play on the word collaboration of curiosities more than anything. She's been lurking.
Yeah, I don't normally pronounce the whole thing, so I don't mess it up. That's why I say Adele. But yeah. She's the only Adele I know.
I try to stick to the screen names just because, I'm kind of. People don't always want you to tell, use their real names because they don't want you to know who they are, kind of thing.
Well,
even though a lot of people know who I am anyway.
Corey once said that you should call people by their screen names because that's what they want to be known as, and
Right.
that way you're directing them if they have their own channel. He'll like say Chattanooga instead of just Ed, even though Ed's in my name. But uh, Nancy B in Tennessee, that way you're putting her channel name into all. He has thousands of people, but
Right.
we have our cool people. We have the important people, but so you give the whole name as like it's a promotion to them. Like I've never said Killer Kitty '08. I've never even noticed the '08 until just now. It's probably the year she
I've seen
graduated.
it, but I
I
never. I leave
I
off
hope
the
it's the year
killer
she
all the
graduated,
time.
not the year she was born.
Yeah, right.
Wait, wait, I don't know. '08. That would
No,
probably
that's too
make her
new.
too old.
Right? That's too new. Yeah.
'08. '08
Oh wait.
from 24 would be 16. That meant she would have graduated 16 years ago. I bet that's about right. She may have graduated in '08.
How do you like us
There's a
debating what your oh 08 stands for, killer?
Yeah. It turns out she just really likes round numbers.
Right. Lucky number 8.
My favorite round number is 0 and 8. Doesn't get more round than those numbers. Maybe 800. Oh, 888. That's really round. Nancy's going to call her 08.
She's gonna call her oh 08 from now on. Yep. Yeah, that's me too.
Oh,
Usually it's derogatory.
she graduated in '04. Dang it. Well, I graduated in '92. That's scary, isn't it? In college is 96 would have been. But I dropped out with one credit to go. One class to go. I need to take one biology class and I didn't want to do it. Because I had to pay for it. All I had a full scholarship for all the rest. Nancy, that's when I graduated. That's awesome. Well, I just said that, didn't I?
So I guess she started playing WoW in 2008. World of
Wow.
Warcraft, if you're unfamiliar.
I started WoW the day it came out. And I played it for about an hour and I quit and said I'll never play it again. I'm an EverQuester.
Yeah, I never played that one, so I didn't get hooked. Now I'm playing Diablo 4.
I played Diablo 1, but that's it. I played the best two MMOs ever was Conan, the Barbarian game. It was amazing, but they never added content, so it went to hell. And Star Wars Galaxies was probably the best game ever. And then they added Jedi's and they ruined the whole game.
Bev, you're
78
not
is
old.
not
You're
old.
experienced.
I was born in '73, so I'm older than you. '78 was such a great year. You have
Man, were
Jaws and
you
Star
in the
Wars.
north? Were you up here? You were probably still too far south. Man,
For what?
78, that was the year when we got like 27 feet of snow.
Was that the giant ice storm that hit? We were in Iowa. We came home from Iowa. We lived in Kansas City then. And my dad couldn't get into, we had to walk the last 5 miles in the ice. It was horrific. But we got home. It was like walking through a blizzard of ice.
Exactly, Zenny. Go
But I've
ahead.
always been a Midwest guy until just the last few years. I've lived pretty much my whole life in Missouri and probably 20 years in Illinois, but it was right on the Missouri border.
Right. And really, I mean, where you're at, you're still, I mean, you're not too far off the edge of the Midwest. I mean, if you were to, no, you're more Mid-East now, but technically
Oh,
Southern, right?
yeah, I'm definitely south. I mean, we're right on top of Georgia and Alabama.
I am only 9 hours from Chicago in Tennessee, so I cannot be that far away from the well from the Midwest I am, but from the mid portion of the if you were to like notch a circle out of the center of the United States, I bet you I'd be pretty close to the edge of that circle.
Yeah. Well, they say that the Midwest starts in Ohio, and I always found that hard to believe growing
Yeah,
up in Missouri, the heartland. I
that's
was
that
over the
not,
Midwest,
definitely
but
not the West.
yeah, I
Only
can.
3 minutes,
It's just because that's where you grow up. You know, I grew up right in the center of the United States.
right?
Kansas City is pretty much smack dab right in the middle
And
there.
that's where my daughter is right now. I mean, she's Kansas City, Kansas City, can yeah, Kansas City,
Kansas City,
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was Kansas City, Missouri, but I
she
mean,
was. She
I
moved.
I literally have lived my whole life up until when I moved to Tennessee here within 2 miles of the Missouri and the Mississippi River. My whole life, I've always lived next to the Missouri or Mississippi River. And now I live about a half a mile from the Tennessee River. I don't get it.
Yeah, you're
But
a
this
water.
river has been dammed and turned into a lake. And now it's called Lake Chickamauga. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of cool. In that movie that Clint Eastwood or Burt Reynolds did, not diplomacy. Help me out, Stephen P. That movie where Burt Reynolds is a canoer and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Angelina Jolie's dad is in it.
Yep. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Starts
Squeal
with
like a
a
pig for me. Squeal
D.
like a pig.
Yeah, D. I think there's a D in
Deliverance.
the word.
Deliverance.
Deliverance.
Yeah.
This is where I am literally living in the exact same spot. That's Deliverance. I mean, this is probably where that barn where the kid went, you know, the deformed looking kid probably was like down on the road
Right.
down here. So weird. But then luckily they flooded out all that area, and now this has become a tourist trap kind of, or a fishing town. So all the hillbillies got mad and probably left. Even though it was definitely a hillbilly today that was looking at that toilet. Oh man,
Yeah.
he was fascinated with the toilet. It's like, give me a break, man. Oh, did you even hear that? I was telling the people about my trip to Walmart, and I was coming down the aisle this way, and this family of four was coming this way, and I was like, okay, I can get by them. And then they all stopped to look at the toilet that's on the end cap at Walmart. And I had to walk all the way around, and then they get done looking, and they kept going. I mean, I see, maybe somebody that stopped to look at that Mustang. It's just beautiful, and then going. But
Indoor
whoa,
plumbing.
oh, look, it's so white and so shiny.
Look, Earl, you don't have to poo outside. You can do it right
I
here
mean,
in
he
the sink.
literally was doing this with his hand around the side of the bowl. And I was like, ah, oh well. But I didn't
Ooh,
say anything because I didn't want my Yankee accent to make him punch me in the mouth or something.
George has a
And now I had
TV
a
in the
red
fish
beard.
room tonight. I get my Fire Stick so I can play YouTube on TV. Oh, I want to do that, but all my stupid tanks are so tall. I don't know where the hell I'd put it. I mean,
What are
there's
you going to watch tonight on TV?
I don't. Whatever YouTube he's gonna. That was for Aquaballs George.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I thought maybe that you're going to watch the same thing. Like, is there some super event?
Oh, I don't think. Just you. No, that's tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, Killer Kitty was born before my best year of my life. 1985 was my best year of my life. The Royals won the World Series and the Bears won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I started playing football that year. That's the first year I
85.
started playing football. I even had a football rap because I was my team was like the inner city squad. So I was like one of three white kids on the team. So at the party or at the big banquet we had at the end or potluck, whatever, we got our trophies and stuff. Everybody was supposed to do a rap. And my rap was, my name's Big Ed, don't mess with me. If you do, I'm going to break all your bones from your head to your knee. And, but because the 85 Bears had their rap, so
Yep.
we did it. But I had the most laughs, which I was proud of.
Was it uphill, man?
Oh my gosh, it was great.
In the snow both
No,
ways?
not in 85. 85 was all downhill wonderful. Seriously, that's when that was the year I became a sports fan.
I
That's when
became a
I
sports fan
learned.
in 1976, if you can believe that. That was a long time ago.
Yep.
Foxy's still here, or she came back. I was supposed to graduate in '03, Stephen, but they thought I was stupid. So they held me back a year. Then they figured out I was dyslexic. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Boy, that was in '03 they were still doing that?
Well,
The same thing
in
happened to
nine,
me in way back in my first grade. I did first grade twice because they couldn't figure out why I want to learn so good.
they realized I had a learning disability my in kindergarten because I could do the whole alphabet, but I did it out of order. I could remember every stinking letter, but I couldn't remember it in order because every time I do it from the middle out. That's how I read. I see Stephen there, and I see the PH before I see any of the other letters when I
Hmm.
read. It's just that's how I read. I read from the inside out. It's very bizarre. But I can read upside down just as good as I can read straight. I can read bottom this way, in reverse order.
Well,
It
that's a
doesn't matter because
skill.
I like, yeah, well, it's a weird skill. Like I used to be able to do cool things like when people were reading newspapers because I'd read it just as good upside down. And they'd say, "You want to know your horoscope?" And I would say it, and they'd think I had like memorized it. I just read it.
Right?
They were upside down. But you can also like a spoon. We'll put it in reverse, and they even tested me that way, and I could read just as fine like in a mirror as I could. Just
Really?
weird.
That is,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I like D's and B's. I get mixed up all the time, and I'll even like I'll uh I'll like type all the letters in reverse order sometimes and stuff. It's so weird.
That is,
Like
I
I'll
don't know
type
what that would
the
even fall
backwards.
under.
It's a weird disability, but they discovered it right away when I was just a little kid because it presented so quick. But it wasn't dyslexia because I could see the letters right, even though like I say B's and D's throw me off sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah, for
just
me,
another learning disability.
it's not, it just takes a minute sometimes. Like you'll hear me talking and there's like gaps in my speech or whatever. And that's because I know what I want to say, but somewhere here, from here to here, it gets lost. And then I have to try to track her down again. What I was just, sometimes I'm right in the middle of a sentence and it'll just quit working. And I'm like, look, long gap, and people are like, "Are you okay?" Yep.
Well,
I just
here's
sometimes the words get lost on the way out the door.
this is where it's the worst for me is with names. And like when we were doing the baseball thing with all those names, and they're names that I've never have read in my life. I have no clue, and I'm not good with foreign names. And I mean, they have Latino names, Asian names are really tough for me. You know, luckily I'm Eastern European, so I get to hear those names a lot. But yep.
I can't believe that they're still letting that happen. We are so much
Yeah.
more aware, and they're still letting that shit happen. I mean, in the '80s, we didn't even know what a concussion was. Oh, I just got his bell rung. Yeah. Why am I seeing 3 times and want to throw up?
You wanted to give me Ritalin when I was a little kid too.
Me too. They
And
wanted
I'm
me to
like,
do that too.
I was the most calm kid in the world. And my mom refused to let him give it to me because it was like, that has nothing to do with his learning disability. Why do you want to give it to? They just want to give it to kids for no reason.
Kitty, they,
And
they do that a lot. Sorry, just a quick hold that thought.
sure.
They do that a lot when the city kind of goes over the border. We have that right here in Illinois, where it's a littler town, much littler. Is that even a word? It's a smaller town called Beloit, and there's Beloit, Wisconsin, and Beloit, Illinois, because Beloit, when they made it, they didn't either care about the border, or maybe it's old enough where the border wasn't there. I don't know, but that's how that happens. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, a lot of times those type of towns happen because they were trading posts on rivers.
Right. Which
And it's just
there
both
is a river
sides.
up there too. Yeah.
I mean, that's how Kansas City was formed, East St. Louis,
Hmm.
the states came in after the towns were built.
Right.
But yeah, my buddy tried to get me to go to Beloit College, and I just didn't want to go there. And I'd have out of state tuition. So,
It was a good move because
but
Beloit is a shithole.
but it's right next to Madison, and that's where Gary Gygax is from. That's the home of Dungeons and Dragons originally.
Really?
Yep.
And that's that kind of trivia I never been able to hold on to. I've probably heard that before, and it just passes right through. I got no room for it in my brain.
Well, I went to his comic book shop when I'd go visit my buddy, in his college. I'd go there like once a
Hey,
year.
he-
Now my buddy lives really close to you, Whip. He's a museum caretaker out there somewhere in Chicago, but he lives like in your neighborhood almost.
Really?
It's kind of cool. Yep. If you ever run into Jamie Kelly, tell him I say hi.
Jamie Kelly. I
Yep.
know a guy with the last name Kelly, but
That's
not
cool.
Jamie.
Oh, well, actually, he probably goes by John now. Jamie was his high school name, so I'm the only person that calls him Jamie, but everybody else calls him John.
Big Bad John. Denny's
Yep.
here. I didn't see you sneak in, or maybe you were here earlier and I have forgotten. That seems to be a trend today.
Oh my
John
gosh,
McKenzie.
Peplin's here.
I haven't got
Peplin is
that
the
far
same
down yet.
class as me, 92. Man, I wish Peplin would have went to my high school and then we could have played football together.
Didn't you just turn 50?
Yes.
He's turning 50 in April
Yep.
because they're doing
So
the
makes
big
sense.
party kind of thing going on.
Oh yeah. Oh, so he was a 74 baby. I was a 73 baby. But because my summer birthday, I got bumped. They had so many kids in Kansas City
They didn't know what to do.
They were like, well, they were trying to make it so the cat class flow was more even. So they had to decide if summer babies would go into 90, like the which kindergarten class. And so I almost had to wait a whole year before I went into kindergarten, longer than some kids. But just weird. Doesn't really matter.
Weird is weird.
I mean, I'm 8 months older than Pepla, and we graduated in the same class. So
Right.
otherwise, I would have been a young kid in the class.
That was
So
the other
I'd
thing they
rather
held
be
me
the
back
older
for. Is they
kid
said
than
I
the
was
young
too
kid.
young. But when they held me back, then I was older than everybody. You know how I don't know how that actually worked out. They may have just told me that to make me feel better. But as a first grader, I don't remember even caring. I get to do this again. All right. I mean, how old are you when you're in first grade?
6 or 7 or 5. That was one thing I noticed when I was in Illinois. A lot of those kids started kindergarten in 4 when they were 4 from my class. Like my best friend was 2 years younger than me, Jason Stanley. I'm like, how in the world?
Pause and percussions is in here. You are not oldish. You and Mike are
Uh-huh.
still young, young, young.
Yep.
I lost track of where I was. Dang it. I might skip somebody.
Has Geek Boy been here the whole time?
Nope. Maybe.
I bet he's at work and he's just got us on in the background. That's probably how
Yeah,
it
it
is
could
with a
be.
lot of people. And when I worked, I used to listen to this stuff all the time as I basically it was like a podcast. And I just put it on in my ear and listen. And
My
so I
problem
imagine
is
that's what people
I
still
always
do.
want to reply, and most of my day is spent behind the wheel. So there's a lot of times when, if it's really butchered, like the sentence is just horribly typed out. That's mostly because I was doing it one-handed with one eye on the road and trying to text, which is wrong. I know, but I still do it.
Well, I
Or I do it at a
when
stop sign, trying to get it out real quick before I have to go.
yeah, whenever I'm driving, I always have a YouTube, whoever's live, and I'll say, "Hey, I'm driving, so I can't talk." And then people say hi to me, and I feel really guilty because it's
Yeah,
like I should be doing this. So
yeah.
sometimes I don't even say hi, or I just listen.
That sometimes it's how I feel too. Like I don't even say anything because people are going to say hi, and then you're going to want to say hi back, and you're driving and you shouldn't be. Or I'm on a conference call and I'm doing multiple multitasking, like 3 different things while I'm driving. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, just don't even say anything. But you want to show support too, so like, yeah, I'm here, I'm listening, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like Adele says, it's Talk TV, Aquarium Talk TV, and it really is. Um, it's TV that you can respond back to, or and that's what I told uh, James a long time ago. It's like I always wanted to be a DJ. I thought it'd be so much fun to just be do a DJ show, and that's why I was like, I'd love to just do this, and I'll like act as the goofy sidekick, and we'll be good to go.
Right.
And so that was always this aspect of this whole YouTube thing that I love is to be able to just hang out and talk. And the
Yeah.
cool thing is people get to respond back to you so much faster. Because if we were on the radio, everybody'd have to call in.
Right. Although
This makes it so much
this way
better.
you do get missed a lot. Like I don't even know half the stuff that we've kind of just glanced over. And when I was gone, I missed
Hey
all of
Mel.
that conversation.
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
not sure if
Mexicali's here.
he is. Hey,
Oh,
he went live this
and there's
morning, but I
Oinky
didn't.
again.
I did not get there.
I have totally missed Oinky's texts or talks on here, except for when you just popped her up there. I was hoping that she was still
Yeah,
here.
she is very vocal, or she has been up to 12:06. Holy cow! I
I,
was going to end at 12.
I can only see four, well, no, five people's things, and then it moves. So I guess if we stop for a second, it's always a different group of text here. I
Right.
really should have popped the YouTube open and pulled and popped the YouTube thing, but oh well. Man, I just moved back and forth and my tummy hurts from the pulled muscle. I haven't pulled a muscle in my stomach since I think I was doing sit ups in football camp and things like, or sit ups on the ice when you're playing hockey. Sometimes, like those, I would hurt my stomach then, or the leg lifts in hockey. That was horrible with your skates on. Oh.
Yep. Kitty, that is man, that is hitting close to home right there. Because yeah, I know what I want to say, but either the words won't come, or what I do say are just random things that were backed up before. I don't know. I don't know where some of the words come from. You just
It's so
talking
frustrating.
talking gibberish sometimes, and it's clear as a bell in my head, but it just won't come out my freaking mouth.
Well, and it's a lot worse when you're on YouTube and you're trying to say something educated because the educated words like hide. When we play D&D, I never have a loss for words. But I think it's because we're so comfortable and whatever I say, can sound as dumb as I want. It's going to come out okay.
Did you see what Mike said? If you can pronounce Maritz's name, you're good to go.
Maritza?
Yeah,
Yep.
so you're good
Or
to
she'll
go.
punch you. Will she punch me if I
Yeah.
say the wrong thing? Oh man, what did Maritza make at that bake sale that looked so good? She had a bake sale with her church, and it was right after Mike had his appendix pulled out. And so he was at home, like on the live chat, and she was out selling the baked goods. But she made something that I was like, gosh, I wish I could drive over there and buy it right now.
Hmm. I can't
I
help
don't
you.
remember what it was. Oh well, I don't. Some type of cake made with biscuits, or man, I don't remember at all.
As
Oh
soon as we
well,
get caught up here, maybe she'll remember.
is she here?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
she is paws and percussions. So if you see that, that's Maritza.
Oh, I had no idea. I'm sorry, Maritza. I didn't know. Yes.
Aquarium
Oh,
Daily.
yes. That's I love bread pudding too. That's what it was. Man, so good. Or it looks so good. I haven't had bread pudding in such a long time. I bought cinnamon rolls today at the Walmart for us to have. So we have something sweet in the house.
I don't think Adele does sleep. I think she's like Ed, and she's just up all the time.
It
Even
seems like,
even Zenny had a quick turnaround because I was talking to her pretty late into last night, and then here she is again in the morning
well, but that's because Zen has to put up with the fire ants.
with fire ants.
Yeah, in Houston, the fire ants are really bad. And so she probably can't sleep long or they'll start biting.
Does she live in a hovel?
I think she lives in a ranch.
Because she was helping a
I
kindergarten.
have this all drawn out in my head. I have no idea, but I picture her living on a ranch.
That's
with
crazy.
firing.
That is
Yes.
crazy right there. You guys are too young to be putting up with that bullshit still.
What
People are.
happened?
A friend of Jenna's was marked off points for her formal evaluation by the principal because she was helping a kindergarten do addition in the hundreds when the standards say just add or subtract within 10. I mean, that's just dumb. I mean,
It
how do you
is.
expect these kids, and now they're grown-ups and they're struggling.
They don't even like
So frustrating.
have. Whit, did you ever hear about that new math they were teaching kids? I tried to have Lefty explain it to me, and I couldn't figure it out at all.
No,
I was like, I don't understand how to add this math. Adding and subtract, all math is easy. Why did they make it so confusing?
I can do basic math, but math is the one class where I may be borderline. What is that term?
Don't say the R word because
No,
that'll
no, no,
make
no,
fun of
no,
me.
no. It's a learning disabled something or other. I
Hole in
I
your
cannot
head.
grasp. I had three different tutors in college trying to teach me pre-algebra. I could not get it. I could not
Well,
understand how to put the things together with
I
the answer. Couldn't do it.
my my first college class of college algebra 1, I had I made sure I had this cool teacher. I always tried to find the best teachers. Um, and she got a job at the University of Florida and left. And so they brought in the substitute guy for the semester. His name was Dr. Rice. He was an idiot. He was teaching us like calculus or something. And my buddy, who was a math major, okay, I would bring him my college algebra 1 things. I'm like, I don't understand any of this, Puff. Help me. And he would be like, I can't even figure this out. And I'm in statistics and all blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, so half the kids had already dropped out of the class because he said he grades on a curve. And I knew I was failing. So I went and I wasn't going to take an F on my, you know, uh, whatever it's called, my grade point average. So I dropped the class. And when I went and gave him the paper, he said, "Oh, that's a shame. You're the top of the class." And I went, "What?" And he says, "Yeah, you're top of the class in this math class." And I looked at the class, and everybody's like, because I did it in the middle of or at the beginning of class when everybody was in there.
Right.
And I said, "What's my score?" Because I failed everything ever. He said a 47. So I had a 47 and I was the top math kid in the class. But then the next semester, I took a good algebra teacher, and I had no problems with it. It was just if you get the wrong teacher, you're doomed in college, at least.
Hi, Debs.
Hey, Debs. Oh, what do British people say as for hello?
Hello. No.
Hello, 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 darling. I don't know. That probably sounds
Hello, puppet.
terrible. Hello, governor. But
Oh, that's just a
but you wouldn't be a governor.
dumbass
Hello,
Americans.
Duchess. I don't know. Can I have a biscuit? It is fun being a dumbass American, isn't
You're
it?
right. Just say dumb things.
Nobody else gets away with that.
Oh, whoa! I'm still way from the bottom. I'm going.
Oh, maybe that's why. Because I read over here and then I go over here. Maybe that's why I'm missing half the stuff.
That could be.
Oh, that's funny.
So
But
Ed, that's a person. Now I wonder what that was referencing.
Oh no. I know. That's the problem. I'm on two different timelines.
I might have to just skip ahead.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's not your fault. Mine for having my. I knew that was going to happen because he
Well,
told me he was coming Friday, and I'm like, man, just don't come between 10 and 11. That's all I ask. In my head, and of course he came between 10 and 11.
oh, I meant sorry to Adele for
Oh,
not knowing what we were talking
oh yeah,
about.
we have no idea what you were referencing there.
Oh my gosh, did Mexicali just say hi and over here? We're like
Maybe I haven't
over
even seen him yet. Oh, you're right there. Yeah,
we're like
Mexicali. Hey
45 minutes
George, sorry about that,
behind.
buddy.
Well, I said hi to Mexicali over here. And that's how well maybe Oinky did leave an hour ago. Poor
Yeah, I haven't
Oinky. I'm
seen her in a
sorry.
minute.
Now, did I see the bread pudding on this side or on that side?
Probably on your side because
Bread
I haven't
pudding.
got that far yet.
Okay. I am in the Dungeons and Dragons with X2. I'm changing my class.
Like completely?
No, I'm gonna stay a cleric, but that war cleric, I hit third level, and all of his abilities are like make a +1 sword or a +1. It's all. Oh, there's Oinky. Hello, dear. But so it's like all these offensive abilities, and I don't even get the ability to give aid. So I'm changing the class so I can be more of a cleric that heals and helps people because we already have a lot of tanks.
Mm-hmm. Dix,
So
that's my problem too. Especially when I type out, when I'm like typing out, my brain works faster than my fingers, and I reread what I typed out, and I'm like, whoop, I missed an entire sentence there, or like half a sentence, because I just moved on. I'm like, okay.
well, and now with voice to chat. Oh, there was the Twix bread pudding. Well, now with voice to chat, um, it's so much more convenient. So I do that a lot. But it will change what it says. It'll change what I said completely sometimes. And it waits till my finger's right at the button to send, and it goes and changes it. And poor Wanky has to put up with me
Yeah,
all the
right. I cannot do it. I cannot. I mean, I try, but it just doesn't work for me. I mean, like you said, it changes what I want it to say. Like it'll have it there for a second, and then it'll completely change to a different word, different sentence. And I'm like, what? Why? You had it. You had it, and now it's gone. So I don't know. And Mike, that is not true. I catch some of your stream. You just stream when I'm doing things. And
Yeah,
sometimes I pull an Ed and I'm listening but don't say anything because I'm not in a position to respond or reply.
his streams are at good cruising times.
Yeah, a lot of times I can listen to Mike while I'm driving, and it's not like um, what he's talking about. I don't feel the need to like jump in there every second, because what he's talking about doesn't apply to what my experiences are. So I can listen without having to pipe in.
Oh, now look at this. Okay, so Peplin said that uh he never reads what he types, he just hits it and sends whatever, which is
Me too.
totally it drives me nuts because then I read it and I was like, what? I'm not
Yeah.
going to the fair with my cousin Bill. It's
Right.
weird. It's like the most bizarre things possible.
Do you
And
guys find
but
yourself yelling at your thumbs? Come on, man.
oh, two the letters are so there's some letters that I always hit the wrong. I think it's what's next to the T. I'm going to. Who's it? Okay.
H probably, because a lot of times I'll try to hit H and I get the R.
It's the R that I hit a lot instead of the T. I do that all there. There's
I
a
hit the
couple of them
I hit the period instead of the M all the time.
that. Poor Winky. But Zen just said if you hit the space bar, it starts to autocorrect it. And it's like, well, you got to hit the space bar or to make spaces. When you hit space bar, the autocorrect kicks in. And I guess I'm hitting it way too much. And sometimes I accidentally hit that instead of the bottom line letters because my fingers are just too big for the buttons. So it's like sometimes I just get mad at the voice to chat. So I type and it's horrible. So then I go to typing and then I get mad. So I go to voice to chat. And it used to be when I did voice to chat, I would say, hey, do you need me to get milk? Question mark. And it would put a question mark. Now it types or writes out question mark.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It used to, I'd say like whatever what I was saying, period. And then I'd try to, do another, and now it types out period instead of just putting the period in there.
Yeah.
Well, we've gotten a long ways off from fish, haven't we? That's all right, I guess.
Oh. Yeah, this is the Whip Fish Show.
Yeah.
Quick, somebody ask me a fish question.
I'm a full Rico behind. Hopefully not anymore.
Yeah.
I can see the bottom. I can see it.
Oh, Oinky just said no, she's not there on yours, but she's already said things on this one. Well, like, and when I'm preparing for a show before the live stream, I make random notes for myself, and sometimes I like send my random note to Oinky, which doesn't make any sense to her, but it made total sense to me.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
like I asked her to pop the link for CJ Black's channel for during the PSA, but this is like hours beforehand, so she has no idea what I'm even talking about because we're not live or anything. But I was thinking, can you make sure you have the link for CJ Black? I should have spelled it out so much better, but I'm not thinking. So, and I should really just see whatever mod is there just to see if they would pop it.
And now they can't get that right, but they got this AI system that Jason Depanon he uses that I Speak or whatever that is program where now she does screw it up a little bit, like she puts emphasis on the wrong words, but still, I mean, it could almost be like she's a real person sometimes when you type that out and she repeats it. That they can do, but they can't get voice to text down at all.
Oh. Poor Peplin.
They don't like it. Doesn't like Giddy's dialect. I don't think it likes anybody's dialect.
Oh, well, that's another thing. Is for the longest time, voice to chat would say totally bizarre things, and I was thinking maybe it thinks that I'm from the South and it's trying to count, add my Southern accent that I'm not speaking with.
Right.
I don't know.
When is that, Andrew? Is that today?
It might be today. Ooh, I wonder if I'm gonna have. Okay, so the new Godzilla movie, I have mixed opinions on because it really feels like it's more like Rampage. Do you know what Rampage is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I even saw
That
that movie.
video game.
Yeah.
And then the movie was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
QC is here.
It really feels like it's going to be the same type of like one of those movies. It's very bright. Everything looks digital and bright colored and stuff, which I love colors and stuff, but Godzilla movies are normally dark and lots of destruction and stuff. I hope I like it. I also don't like Godzilla having pink like highlights. And this is from a guy with pink highlights.
Yeah, I don't know why they're changing it so much. I mean, Godzilla is a long time long standing icon. Quit changing them. I mean, his arms are getting longer, which
Well,
it's
and
fine, but whatever. It shouldn't.
Godzilla's changed a lot over the years because he's a guy in a rubber suit,
Right.
and it was silly. But this newer one in this, you know, American version, keep him cool, man. Where's my AMC? There's my
Especially when
AMC.
they can do so much with the special effects these days. I mean, you don't have to, change his overall look. Just let him do what he does, and he'll be great all by itself.
Yep. Well, today I'm going to spray paint this guy when we're done here and assemble him. And then I'm going to go see Godzilla. I'm not going to lie. Thank you so much for reminding me to go see Godzilla today. I'll probably have to take a shower though. Hey, there's Uncle Smiley.
You
Hey,
ever
can you
wish
pop Uncle Smiley? Oh, what did
there?
she just
This
say?
is Zoink.
She's asking about Ghost Knights, or she's asking Jenna P about Ghost Knights?
Both of us, because we both have one. But I don't see
I
a
had
question. Do you ever wish there were a mini version? Oh yeah, I wish he would have stayed at 3 inches for sure. But man, I mean, even now at 12, he disappears in there.
I
I
got my clown knife to about 8 or 9 inches before it died.
Yeah, you had a clown knife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is different but similar.
Yeah. That was way back in the 90s.
Is that what you wanted me to do? That one or a different one?
Yeah. Oh, look, it's an American eagle behind the USA. Because I could see the USA, but I couldn't see what was going on behind it.
Oh yeah, flag,
Oh, he's very cool, patriotic
patriotic.
one. I like that.
Yeah.
I love bald eagles too. My Indian guide's name was Soaring Eagle, I think. It was something Eagle. I don't think it was Screaming Eagle. It may have been.
I don't believe that is the case, Miss Kitty. They that is a do they? I can't think of a time when they actually, and I can't even remember the name of the band that did that. Oh no, they say he's got to go. Oh. Blue Oyster Cult. No, who the hell was that? I don't remember.
I wish they would sell those blow up Godzillas that they used to back in the 80s. Used to see them in the mall shops. The blow up Godzillas. I always wanted one, but I never had $15 to pay to buy one. That's cool, Oinky. I'm kind of afraid of the exact same thing. I think that -1 looks so good. The new Godzilla just kind of looks like
It was Blue Oyster Cult.
it looks like Rampage to me.
I would rather see that though. I cannot. I mean, I'm glad you guys like the foreign one, but I
Oh, the
cannot.
foreign one's
No,
amazing.
no. I mean, that's the -1 is basically foreign, right?
Yes, it was
Yeah,
Japanese.
I can't. I can't watch those. I mean, I can watch
Oh,
them,
that's
but I
good.
can't read. I can't read fast enough to keep up with the dialogue, and then watching the movie, and then trying to watch. That's another problem I have with the whole learning disability is I read slow. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I read freaking slow, and I'm halfway through the whatever they got typed up there, and they're moving on to the next, you know, conversation, and now I've missed what was on going on above me, and I don't know what they said. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. And then you
Well,
can go to the one where they're speaking English, but it looks terrible, you know, visually.
ah, see, those are my favorites. I love that. No,
Hey, Danny,
but
he's back.
I I enjoy the Japanese version with the Japanese words because I love it when I recognize the words. I was like, oh, I know what he just said, or I knew what that word. But I love watching sumo. I during the COVID, I got hooked on watching sumo wrestling, and that's all in Japanese also, and I just absolutely love it.
I think that's what it is,
Just
Kishi. I do have a little bit of that because I mean, I've never been diagnosed, but there's got to be a reason why. I mean, it takes me 6 months to read a book. You know, part of that's because I get very sleepy, like a page
well,
in, and I'm only going a page at a time. But it takes me a half an hour to read one page, and that's
part
not
of
good.
with my reading disability is I have to continuously read. If I stop reading, I just forget stuff, like
Right.
forget the words.
Like, right.
So,
I mean, I can do it. It's not like I can't do it. I just have to do it at my pace, and then I won't remember it long term, but I can remember it short term. Like that's how I used to study for tests. I just read it until I memorized it, and then I could take the test and no problems. But if you had asked me 3 days after the test, I probably couldn't have recalled any of that. So yeah, it's but I can remember, you know, goofy shit, but I shouldn't remember.
and what Oinky is saying about the Oscars, I totally agree with her, but I don't get upset because I don't believe in awards anymore. Um, when Lord of the Rings only gets nominated for stuff when they know it's the last Return of the King, that first Lord of the Rings movie was so. I mean, don't compare it to the other two. Just as the first time you saw a movie like that, it was crazy amazing. The
Just like
Fellowship,
Jurassic Park. Remember Jurassic Park when it first came out in '92? Everybody's like,
amazing.
what the hell? How did that even happen? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
but the Oscars, the people that are giving those trophies away are preppy snobs
Yep.
that give it to movies that will only make $12,000 in the box office, and that's just stupid. It should honestly, the top movie of the year should be the one that sells the most tickets. And it should have been Barbie last year. I didn't even see Barbie. But the movie that makes the most money should get a trophy saying it was the best movie. So, if it would have been Deadpool, Deadpool gets it. But they refuse to give fiction things or pop stuff any credit. But that's what fuels the industry. I
Right.
mean, if you don't have those monster movies, then all the movie theaters shut down. So all the trophies that they're giving to these crappy little movies that nobody watches would never be seen because those big ones are what brings in the money and
Right. And
keeps
people give,
and they give them no
and even
credit.
yourself. I mean, lately, but the Marvel movies is whether you love them or hate them,
Well,
they are the ones that are bringing in money right now, or they were.
they
I
were. Now
mean,
they're losing, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. It's a
right.
thing. I think that Deadpool hopefully will be really big. I hope that Disney can turn it around, but I don't know. They've really bummed me out.
And I didn't dislike a lot of the ones that you did. So same with Star Wars. I know you had some issues with some of the Star Wars stuff because it's Disney now, but Most of that stuff I'm fine with.
Well, like, okay, the I hated how they did Luke so bad. I waited, what, 25 years to see Luke Skywalker kick ass.
Right. And they made him a kind of a pussy.
They made him a quitter. They made they the three main male characters in that movie, they made Luke Skywalker a quitter, they made Finn a pussy, and they made Poe a moron. And I loved all three of those characters. And it's not because I just love guy characters, but they made the guy characters bad because they want to make women feel good. But why can't it just be a good movie? I mean, you don't need to put anybody down to make a good movie.
Right.
Because I love Ray, and I have no problem with Ray being the new Luke Skywalker, you know. But don't just belittle the men or the characters just because you want to push an agenda, and it just sucks. It sucks. And then with the Marvel movies, I hate that they aren't going with the storylines. They're just
Yeah.
making up new storylines, and they got so many great storylines. And like my favorite character is Namor. They made a whole new story for him, and he was their Marvel's original character, and they made him a moron bad guy. It's like, ugh. I
was
liked
this?
like I liked Ant Man, and people had problems with Ant Man. I thought Ant Man was pretty. I mean, it wasn't great,
I
but
loved the first one, and the second
oh,
one,
yeah,
but the second one was, but that
oh, I
always seems to
enjoyed the
happen.
second one, but the third one is the one that lost money,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
so
because I don't know what the hell they were doing with that movie.
yeah, it was confusing, and but they canceled the fourth one now because of it, and it's like, darn it.
And Doctor Strange is kind of the same way. That third one, even though it kind of led you into the whole multiverse, I mean, Jesus Christ, that was hard to follow sometimes. And
Yeah,
I'm a comic book guy, and it's not like they're trying to crack the atom or nothing, but I couldn't. There were times when I was like, okay, I got to back this up because I completely lost track of what the hell's happening.
yeah, I don't know why they keep doing weird stuff. I'm like, I love Doctor Strange, and I still like that movie, and I was excited even the Immortals. Now, the Immortals, I was mad because they were supposed to do uh the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they canceled Guardians of the Galaxy to do the Immortals. And so that made me bitter towards the Immortals. And the Immortals are characters I don't know anything about. It's a storyline. The only guy I know anything about is Black Knight, and they got me all excited at the very end of the movie having Black Knight, and then it looked like they were not going to go anywhere with it.
Right. Well, that's because it did so poorly.
Yeah, they've already canceled that. They've canceled She-Hulk. They canceled all. The next Captain Marvel's done, so they've done it. But yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. I wish that if they would just stay with the comic books, they'd be fine. And I'm really afraid that this Blood or Deadpool movie might end up getting ruined because they've been fighting nonstop on that one. They wanted originally Hugh Jackman to be murdered or killed by a female version of Wolverine in at the end, and Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are like, no. So,
How did they bring him back? Because I mean, they've already killed him.
well, in comic books, nobody dies. There used to be this story. The only person that ever died in comic books was Gwen Stacy. That was Peter Parker's first girlfriend ever.
Right.
And she died, but she's the only person that never came back. And now she's come back. But in comic books, that everybody's recycled, and there's always a goofy reason how. And I keep praying that they bring back, Captain America and uh, Black Widow. All my favorite characters are gone, and they all want their jobs back because they hate losing that paycheck now. You know, they gave it up, but now they need them back because they were so good.
Right.
So, and
And
I heard there might be a new Captain America movie called Namor, or not Namor, Nomad. I'm super excited about.
I want to see what they do with the new Iron Man movie too. Just I know it's his daughter playing it, playing him, but
I don't think it's going to be.
I hope it is because he is
It's
in it a
it's.
little bit.
Oh well, I think it's there's. He's supposed to be replaced by Lionheart, the gal from the uh, Black Panthers version. You know, the real smart girl from America that had the iron suit. I think she's supposed to replace Iron Man.
Well, it's his daughter.
It's a black gal. She was real smart.
No, but his
She was
daughter is
a
the one that's in Iron Man 4 or whatever it is. It's his daughter going to take over the Iron Man suit. It
I
looks
don't
like.
I think yeah, I know she had like that, but I think they're going to go with Ironheart. I mean Lionheart.
Hmm.
Is it Lionheart or Ironheart? Hmm. Now I confuse myself. But maybe they'll do both of them. I don't know. We'll see. I want Tony Stark. I want Robert Downey Jr. back. But the problem with him is he outpriced himself. He was asking for $75 million for every movie he did. He got paid like 5 times the money that Peter Parker, the kid that played Peter Parker in Spider-Man. And it's like I get that they want the big money because the show makes $1 billion. But what if the show only makes 200,000 and it costs 500 or not or 250 million, but it cost 500 million because normally whatever the cost of the budget to make the movie, Disney spends that much on promotion. So if they spend $300 million making a movie, they'll spend 300 million promoting it. If they spend 50 million making it, they'll spend 50 million.
Right.
But lately it's really backfired. All their movies have been flopping, and it's just a shame because it was my favorite thing in the world for about 16 years. And Disney did such an amazing job because before Disney had Marvel, Marvel movies were pretty bad. There's only a handful that were any good. Like Blade
Right.
was good and Punisher was pretty good. But everything else pretty much stunk over the years.
Yeah. Once technology kind of took over, it started getting better. Like the first Hulk was kind of it was a weird one, but they were able to make Hulk without needing, Lou Ferrigno or some bodybuilder. They were able to just insert him, and then they just kept getting better from there. And then Iron Man hit, and they
Oh,
just
Iron
blew
Man's
that
so
up.
good.
It's the first one, and it's still my favorite of all the Marvel movies. I just love that movie.
Kevin Feige with Disney did such a good job at keeping all those stories together and growing them so well. I mean, as much as people might get mad at Disney, they also have to thank Disney for what they did because they did a really good job with those
Early
movies.
on, they really did. I mean, even Star Wars, I know people bitch about the last three, but
They just screwed up the whole last three, the storylines. Now, if
the
they would have
storyline,
done it,
but the movies themselves weren't horrible. I mean, they were pretty well filmed, and the dialogue wasn't terrible. It was just the fact that they changed what the characters were. They weren't the same people anymore.
well, yeah, they messed up by having uh Ryan Johnson direct that second one. They gave him the power to rewrite everything, and he ruined everything. Like I just found out that uh uh was his name Smoke or Snog the big bad guy from the first movie that they hardly did anything with again. was supposed to be a clone of Luke Skywalker from his hand. That was
Oh,
a Luke's. That guy was supposed to be Luke Skywalker's hand that they grew from his hand. And it's like,
huh.
wow, that would have been a cool storyline, but they never. That was J.J. Abrams came up with all this stuff, and then he didn't do the second movie, and that idiot changed everything, ruined it
Right.
all. And if J.J. Abrams would have just carried it, I think it would have been good. And then J.J. Abrams had to try to fix everything. And but like the TV shows have been great. You know, Rogue One or Rogue Squadron. What was that? Rogue.
Rogue One. That was a very
Yeah,
good movie. I
yeah.
didn't like it. I mean, I knew it had to end the way it ended, but I hated the fact that it ended the way it ended.
I know. I wish it would have been cheesy and saved him at the end.
Yeah, but you know you couldn't because
I wish
everybody
the
said
Millennium Falcon would have come in and got him.
right. So
I just
anyway,
wish.
I suppose it is 12:58 here in the central time zone, and we've probably stepped all over everybody. So
I'm sorry for being goofy.
oh no, this was fun. I've never gone 3 hours before.
Well, you're gonna get a whole bunch of extra hour times too. That's
Right. All right. So you all have a good time. I will see you next Friday, and I will see you in the streams between then and now. So until we see you again, I will talk to you all later. All right. Bye.
bye.